Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. The more children I have, the stronger I am. Chapter 61. 2 months later. The strong wind from the void swept away the white mist around Sect's peak. Like a giant dragon swallowing clouds and mist, it roared loudly. The disciples of Sect were so frightened that they quickly used magic weapons to protect their bodies in case there was an enemy attack. The powerful wind dragon gallops among the mountains. Every pine tree was bent down by the wind. The pine green aura condensed in the sky, and the strong wind wrapped around this mass of pine green and hovered in the sky. What a terrifying natural phenomenon. This child is definitely not simple. Zhong Hai raised his head and was stunned. Even when his former disciple Lang Xiu gave birth to a child with the best spiritual roots, there was no such big commotion. This is not just spiritual roots, I'm afraid it also has special qualities. Shi Ziyuan lowered his head and quickly flipped through the ancient books about special physiques in his hands. I want to find out which constitution only has this vision. I wonder what the vision was like when my child was born. Ji Yuqingxi stared at the vision in the sky and caressed her belly in ecstasy. Meng Jingwei was very indifferent. She knew that her child would most likely still have an earthly body. Although it is not as powerful as their children, it is her own child, how could she dislike it? This vision lasted for nearly half-hour before it finally began to dissipate. The weak-looking Zhang Huayu slowly walked out of the house, and Li Tianyi was the first to step forward and hold her waist. Notice the child in her arms. Zhang Huayu's pale face showed a smile. It's a boy. Li, senior, let me test his spiritual roots and physical constitution. Shi Ziyuan found several physiques that were more in line with this natural phenomenon. If you compare it carefully, you will definitely be able to find it out. In the world of immortality, cultivation is respected. Although Li Tianyi is young, when Shi Ziyuan calls Li Tianyi, he must respectfully call him senior. Of course, this is not what Li Tianyi asked for. It's him who wants to do it. No need, it's the top spiritual root of the wind system, the body of the virtual wind. Li Tiantian knows best about the children he gave birth to. The best spiritual root of the wind system. The body of virtual wind. Shi Ziyuan was frightened. With top-quality spiritual roots and special qualities, this child's attainments can definitely aspire to the title of void refining. Tianyi, what do you want to name your child? Zhang Huayu held the child tenderly. Look at the child with tenderness. In the eyes of a mother like her, special physique and top-quality spiritual roots are nothing. There is nothing better than a child being able to grow up healthy. Just call him Li Yunfei. Li Tianyi said. The wind is blowing and the clouds are flying. Hope he deserves this name. With the best spiritual roots and special physique, he should be the strongest child in Yangzhongguo. Only a woman with super spiritual roots and a special physique can surpass Li Feng's healing talent. Li Yunfei. From now on, this will be your name, Feier, Tianyi, look, Feier is smiling. Zhang Huayu pinched Li Yunfei's face. Li Yunfei smiled cheerfully and tried to reach out and grab his mother's finger. Soon, the news that Zhang Huayu gave birth to a child with top-quality spiritual roots and a special physique spread to the ears of the sect leaders of various sects. Zhang Shan was very happy because Li Yunfei had some blood from the royal family. So he was naturally extremely happy. What's more, Li Tianyi said that the child belongs to whichever family a woman belongs to. How could he not be delighted? Zhang Shan immediately arranged for some people to go to Sect to deliver congratulatory gifts. At the same time, he also told his daughter to have a good relationship with Li Tianyi. In order to ensure that the child could grow up healthily, he also arranged for more than a dozen wet nurses from the palace to accompany him. Take care of Zhang Huayu and Li Yunfei. After all, this is the first time for my daughter to have a baby, so it is inevitable that she will be unfamiliar and unfamiliar. Willow Leaf Sect. The royal family is still one step ahead. With top-notch spiritual roots and special physique, I'm really envious. Lu Bai learned the news. I really wish I was a member of the royal family. When this child grows up and joins the royal family, there will be no room for their other sects to speak. Sir, Sect Master, we must step up and leave the remaining female disciples alone for the time being. Yes, Lord Sect Master. Let's start first. Time waits for no one, Lord Sect Master. I know, I will personally take these 2 female disciples to Fengyan sect. Listen to the elders. Lu Bai thought it made sense. If you don't take action, you will definitely be surpassed by the other party. Must leave as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Lu Bai asked the elder to stay in the sect and keep an eye on the inside. He took the 2 female disciples to the Fengyan sect on the immortal boat. Extreme Thunder Sword Gate. The best spiritual roots are the best spiritual roots of the wind system, and they have special physiques. This. Lei Heng clapped his legs anxiously. However, among the female disciples of his Extreme Thunder Sword sect, only Wang Lenglang met the requirements. If the male disciple could give birth, Lei Heng would have packed it up and sent it there. No, I still have to talk to Wang Lenglang. Then I have to go back to the family and tell my sister and aunt about this matter to see if I can persuade them. Lei Heng made up his mind. At the same time, other elders were called. Asked if there was any woman with outstanding talent in their family. If so, call me over. Otherwise, if this continues, their Ji-Lei sword sect will be kicked out of the 4 righteous sects sooner or later. Sir Master, I have a niece who has a good spiritual root. I have a niece. I'm going to find my great aunt. You have worked hard for Ji-Lei sword sect. Xuanyanmen. You all know the news, right? Du Mingxie told the elders all the news he learned. Sir Sect Master, I heard that the Thunder Sword sect and the Luya sect have both started to take action. If our Xuanyan sect still doesn't take action, we. The 3rd elder said this and stopped talking. Look at it this way. In less than 50 years, the Xuanyan sect will disappear from the Yang sect. After all, he has a genius. The sect's power is getting stronger day by day, and more resources are definitely available. Choosing a stronger and richer sect is the first thing that disciples will consider. It's all for the sake of your own future practice. Have Ning Shuang and Ruoxi thought about it? Du Mingxie asked. They said they needed some time to think about it slowly. The 2nd elder said helplessly. They have tried their best. The great elder looked at Du Mingxie, who was as beautiful as a fairy. After thinking about it, he stepped forward and said, My lord, you are the sect leader of Xuanyan sect. I know what I say next is disrespectful to you, but I still hope you can think about it carefully. You have a high-grade ice spiritual root, and you also have special qualities, so you are the most suitable candidate for the Xuanyan sect. As soon as these words came out, the other elders looked at the great elder in shock. Have courage. In fact, they had wanted to say this to Du Mingxie for a long time. But due to Du Mingxui's identity, they really didn't dare to say anything. It's the great elder who has the confidence. The great elder of Xuanyan sect possesses the cultivation level of the 5th level of nascent soul. He is the most noble person in the Xuanyan sect besides Du Mingxie. Du Mingxie looked troubled. She had thought about herself. But let yourself marry a completely unfamiliar man. She also had to have physical contact with the other party. She really couldn't accept it. Sir Sect Leader, just think of it as doing this for the Xuanyan sect. The great elder gave a look to the elders next to him. The elders gave instructions and half knelt down one after another. Sir Sect Master, please sacrifice yourself for the sake of Xuanyan sect. If they didn't meet the requirements themselves, they would have gone into battle themselves. Du Mingxie sat in her seat, fiddling with her cuffs with her jade fingers. The 2 thoughts in my mind seemed to have turned into villains, engaged in a fierce battle between heaven and man. Fengyan sect. Lu Bai controlled the immortal boat and entered Fengyan sect directly. With Li Tianyi here, the relationship between the 4 sects of the righteous path is closer than before. According to the normal relationship, the opponent's ferry boat must not be allowed to directly cross the formation and enter it. That's totally fine now. With Li Tianyi in charge, Fengyan sect does not need to worry about what tricks Luya sect will play. Sect Master Lu arrived very quickly. It seems that we have 2 good seedlings. The other party just came in. Ji Yu Qingxi noticed Lu Bai. He also used his spiritual sense to see the 2 girls behind Lu Bai. Being able to be chosen to find Li Tianyi shows that his qualifications are not bad. No way, I can't compare to Her Highness the 2nd Princess. Lu Bai sighed softly. Of these 2 women, one has a good spiritual root and the other has a high-grade spiritual root. She is the best woman that Luya sect can find at present. The other female disciples have not done a good job of ideological construction for them yet. Please also ask Sect Master Gu to help me meet with my senior. Lu Bai asked on the night. Come with me. Gu Qingxi motioned for Lu Bai to follow her. Under the leadership of Gu Qingxi, Lu Bai brought 2 female disciples from his sect to Feiyan Peak. Senior. When Lu Bai saw Li Tianyi, he immediately bowed down respectfully. The 2 female disciples were a little at a loss. I don't understand why the sect leader bowed to a young man. The other party had no aura of monk at all. Just like a mortal. But as a mortal, why would the Lord be so respectful? Have you made your choice? Li Tianyi looked at the 2 women. He doesn't yet have the ability to detect a woman's spiritual roots and physique at a glance. I don't know if the system will carry it in the future. If he wanted to know the other person's spiritual roots and physique, he had to get intimate with the other person now. Yes, senior, they are earth-type good-grade spiritual roots and water-type high-grade spiritual roots respectively. With the birth of the best spiritual roots in the past, Lu Bai originally chose some women with middle-grade spiritual roots, but he temporarily eliminated them. If he could have a child with stronger spiritual roots than high-grade spiritual roots, how could he value high-grade spiritual roots? Only by pursuing excellence can we hope to catch up with the imperial family and Fengyan sect. What are your names? Gong Ranran, Bu Menglin. The 2 women replied obediently. Gong Ranran has a good spiritual root. When she heard about the ancient kidney body, she thought about relying on this child to help her increase her status in the future. Bu Menglin was promised by Lu Bai that if she gave birth to a child with the best spiritual roots, not only will the child be taken care of by the sect, but the family behind her will also receive full support from Yizong. Senior, these are 15,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Lu Bai handed it to Li Tianyi with a bit of pain. 15,000 high-grade spiritual stones. It's a bit much for the sect. But when he thought that there would be geniuses with super-grade spiritual roots and top-grade spiritual roots in Luya sect in the future, he felt that everything was worth it. Li Tianyi took the spirit stone and absorbed it in front of everyone. Anyway, they couldn't see the system, they would just think that the spirit stone was absorbed by themselves. I saw each high-grade spiritual stone turn into dust and disperse. It was the first time for Lu Bai and the others to see such a spectacle, and their pupils shrank. Can you actually absorb spiritual stones like this? If they could absorb spirit stones at this speed, their cultivation would have risen long ago. Knight. Husband, please have mercy. Husband, to speed up efficiency. Li Tianyi is too lazy to hold a wedding. Just give the 2 girls a title. Having been in love for a long time, he knew very well that all women could not just meet him by chance. They can all become a pillar of strength for themselves in the future. So no matter who they are, Li Tian will give them the identity of their wives. Host, Li Tianyi. Age, 49. Cultivation, 8th level of foundation building. Qualification, 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining life, 2,885,011. Ding. It is detected that the partner's spiritual root is a 27 grade earth type spiritual root. Start selecting. After spending 10 years of life, the spiritual root of the offspring will be a middle grade earth spiritual root. After spending 100 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant will be a good quality earth spiritual root. After spending 1,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant will be a high-grade earth spiritual root. After spending 10,000 years of life, the spiritual roots of the descendants will become the king-type super-grade spiritual roots. There are no surprises. Li Tianyi chose the last 2. It's a pity that his 2 wives don't have special physiques, otherwise he would be able to consume more life in one go. There are new plans for the future. Li Tianyi thought about it all night. However, this did not affect Li Tianyi's spirit at all. He was still in good spirits until morning. On the contrary, Gong Ranran and Bu Menglin lay on the bed exhausted. The 2 of them spent the whole night picking up the lights for Li Tianyi. Even as foundation building monks, they are inevitably a little unable to hold back. When the candlelight goes out, the morning light shines by the window. They gasped and fell asleep. After a few days, after reaching a close relationship with Gong Ranran and Bu Menglin, Li Tianyi asked them to follow Lu Bai back to Lu Yizong to raise the baby. Although the child has not yet been born, Li Tianyi can still rely on the little life gestated in their belly to carry out peak teleportation. This day, Fengyan Sect came to a guest that surprised Li Tianyi. It's Lei Heng. It wasn't Lei Heng who surprised Li Tianyi, but the little girl next to Lei Heng who surprised Li Tianbin. Lei Heng, even if this girl meets my requirements, I will never marry her. Li Tianyi reminded, judging from the girl's appearance. Definitely no more than 14 years old. Why? Lei Heng was stunned. He finally persuaded Wang Langlang to come and meet his senior. Unexpectedly, the senior refused as soon as he opened his mouth. Did he offend his senior in some way? She's only in her golden years, right? Li Tianyi asked. No, senior, you have misunderstood. Wang Langlang is already 17 years old. Lei Heng suddenly realized. I instantly understood why. I was shocked, thinking I had offended my senior somewhere. After working on it for a long time, the senior misunderstood Wang Langlang's age. Indeed, when I first met Wang Langlang, I also thought that Wang Langlang was only in his early 10 years. 17 years old. It doesn't look like that. Looking at Wang Langlang, Li Tianyi suspected that the child would starve after birth. I thought that the world of cultivating immortals had such abundant spiritual energy. Women's figures are not too bad. I learned a lot today. Hey, your eyes make me feel malicious. Wang Langlang was looking at Fengyan Sect. After feeling Li Tianyi's gaze, he immediately turned around. Why did she sense a malicious intent? Your name is Wang Langlang, right? Li Tianyi asked with a smile. I am Wang Langlang, and you are the senior with the ancient kidney body. You are so young. Dare I ask, senior, how old are your bones? How are your talents? In the world of immortality, you can't judge people by their appearance. Who knows whether beneath the appearance of a young man is the soul of an old monster? If Li Tianyi is too old, Wang Langlang promises to turn around and leave without saying a word. She cannot accept a partner who is too older than herself. You won't know until you touch it. Li Tianyi took the initiative to reach out his hand. With Li Tianyi's permission, Wang Langlang grabbed Li Tianyi's wrist without hesitation. Use Reiki to detect bone age. How is that possible? Actually, you are only 49 years old. Wang Langlang's small mouth opened wide, and his smart pupils widened. Entering nascent soul Zochin at the age of 49. What kind of monster is this? Although Wang Langlang achieved the first level of Jindan at the age of 17. But she knew very well that if she wanted to reach the nascent soul stage, it would be difficult to achieve it within 100 years. This is the horror of the nascent soul stage. Unless you are a genius with the best spiritual roots. Wang Shuangyao is your sister, right? When Li Tianyi saw Wang Langlang, who was so cute, she couldn't help but touch her head. It's so cute. You know my sister. Wang Langlang's eyes lit up. Wang Shuangyao is indeed her sister. The genius sword cultivator sister Shuangyao mentioned is indeed you. Come on, I'll take you to meet your sister. How about it? Li Tianyi suggested. Okay, master, senior and I have to leave for a while. Please wait for me here. Wang shouted coldly to Lei Heng. No problem. Lei Heng raised his hands in agreement. I thought the senior had no chance of taking down Wang Langlang. Unexpectedly, Wang Langlang was so impressed by his seniors. He was able to go to the world of two so soon, which was gratifying. Fei Yunfeng, elder sister. Lang Lang, why are you here? Wang Shuangyao turned around and saw her sister Wang Langlang, who had not returned home for a long time. Although the two sisters have not seen each other for many years. But relying on each other's blood connection, everyone recognized each other immediately. The two sisters hugged each other tightly. Li Tianyi looked at this deeply emotional scene and had only one doubt in his mind. Wang Shuangyao's figure is graceful, with concave and convex shapes and round buttocks. Why is Wang Langlang so smooth? They are both sisters, there is no reason why they should be so different. Sister, I came to Fengyan Sect with Master. Wang Langlang immediately explained the reason why he came. When she learned that her sister was here for a blind date with Li Tianyi, Wang Shuangyao's pretty face turned rosy. By the way, sister, you haven't said why you are here yet. Wang Lang asked curiously. I am already my husband's wife. Wang Shuangyao came to Li Tianyi's side in small steps. He hugged Li Tianyi's arm affectionately and leaned against him gently. What, are you husband and wife? Wang Lang was stunned. No, it's not such a coincidence. Shocked, the master brought his disciples on a blind date, and the blind date turned out to be his brother-in-law. Senior is my brother-in-law. Master asked me to go on a blind date with my brother-in-law. Wang Langlang's little head could hardly turn. Lang, if you are willing, I don't mind. It just so happens that we two sisters can continue to be together. Wang Shuangyao felt that finding Li Tianyi as her husband was a very good choice. My husband is really a good person. Sister, have you figured it out? He is my brother-in-law. Wang Lang said in surprise. My sister will never forget this relationship. So what, two sisters marrying a man has never happened before. Wang Shuangyao said disapprovingly. Seeing this, Wang Langlin felt that his sister had changed so much. Take a breath. Wang Lang changed the subject and asked, by the way, sister, where is my nephew? Yan Miao, Xiao Yan, Wang Shuangyao shouted. After a while, a man and a woman ran over quickly. Hey, sister, you can't run as fast as me. Li Yan put his hands on his hips and said with great air. I'm letting you, otherwise do you think you can outrun me? Li Yanmiao said unhappily. As a sister, her physical strength and realm are stronger than Ji Yan. How could he lose to Li Yan? Haha, mother and father. You are all here. Hey, who is this sister? Li Yan touched his head embarrassedly. Then he looked at everyone present. Finally, his eyes rested on Wang Langlang. Ahem, to put it simply, I am your mother's sister, what do you want to call me? Aunt, the two children said in unison. Hey, you're so good, this is the candy my aunt gave you, take it. Wang Langlang prefers sweets. I always carry a lot of candies with me, which can be used as gifts for my nephews. Thank you, auntie. The mouths of the two children are very sweet. Wang Langlang was very happy. Again, the children were rewarded with a few more. Lang, don't give them too much, you may get cavities. Wang Shuangyao reminded helplessly. Wang Langlang said disapprovingly. What's wrong with this sister? We are monks. We can just use spiritual energy to get rid of tooth decay or something like that. When I was a child and had cavities due to gluttony, I used spiritual energy to get rid of them. Night, Li Tianyi and Wang Langlang were in the yard. I really didn't expect you to be my sister's husband. It seems like we are quite destined. Wang Langlang was sitting on the swing Li Tianyi made specially for children. A pair of jade feet were dangling in midair. Relying on spiritual energy, the swing can be made to move without anyone pushing it. The bright moonlight fell on the two of them. I heard Shuangyao say before that she has a younger sister named Wang Langlang who joined the Thunder Sword Sect. I thought I would find an opportunity to meet at Jilei Jianmen in the future, but I didn't expect that we would meet at Fengyan Sect before I even went. Li Tianyi also felt quite destined. When I was in Hunyuan City, I just thought that I would definitely find Wang Langlang if I had the chance. Wang Langlang's high-grade spiritual roots and the sword cultivator's physique cannot be wasted. Anyone who wants it doesn't have to look for it themselves. Wang Langlang was taken to Fengyan Sect by Lei Heng to have a blind date with him. Hey, is your ancient kidney body real or fake? Don't worry, I won't tell anyone else. Wang asked coldly and quietly. Until now, she still feels that Wanggu is fake. How could there be such a magical physique in the world? It's true, Lang. Li Tianyi asked back. You have tested your two nephews, and they both have high-grade spiritual roots. If I didn't have the ancient kidney body, would I be able to make Shuangyao's children have high-grade spiritual roots? He knew that his physique was too shocking. But there is no need for everyone to question themselves. Is there no one who believes in me? That makes sense. Okay, I believe it, so what do you think of me? Wang Langlang's words took a turn. The swing stopped at this moment, and the delicate feet rubbed together. Under the moonlight, each toe is like pearls of white jade, exuding holy brilliance. People can't help but play with it in their hands. I think you're pretty cool. Li Tianyi said. Then, can I marry you? Wang glanced over coldly, avoiding Li Tiantian's eyes shyly. After this day of getting along, she had a great change in her view of Li Tianyi. In addition, her sister Wang Shuangyao has been whispering in her ear, which makes her a little curious about Li Tianyi. If you want to find a husband, Li Tianyi is indeed a good choice. At least my sister couldn't deceive herself. I will eventually get married. Instead of marrying another man, it is better to choose Li Tianyi so that she can continue to stay with her sister. Lang Lang. Li Tianyi stood up and came to Wang Langlang. His right hand caressed Wang Langlang's rosy face, and Lang Lang's pair of long and curved eyelashes were trembling slightly. The moonlight in the night sky was covered with a layer of veil. What do you think of me? Wang Langlan leaned his head lightly on Li Tianyi's shoulder and whispered softly, I think you are very good, like a warm sun. She may understand why her sister likes Li Tianyi so much. He is handsome and has amazing talent. He is a Yuanying Dzogchen monk at a young age. Where can one find such a genius? Even with a high-grade spiritual root, I don't know when it will take me to reach the nascent soul stage. Li Tianyi did it at the age of 49. Could it be that he is a genius with the best spiritual roots? Host. Li Tianyi. Age. 49. Cultivation. 8th level of foundation building. Qualification. 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining life. 2,775,011. Ding. It has been detected that the host is giving birth to an heir, and the friend's spiritual root is a high-grade fire case spiritual root. After 10 years of lifespan, the offspring's spiritual root becomes a middle-grade fire-type spiritual root. After spending 100,000 years of life, the spiritual roots of the descendants are upgraded to the top-grade fire spiritual roots. After spending 15 years of life, the descendant's spiritual root was upgraded to the top-grade fire spiritual root, and he inherited Wang Langlang's mysterious sword body at the same time. After spending 200,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant is upgraded to the top-grade fire spiritual root, and at the same time, the essence is upgraded to the innate sword. Consumption 2. Quote, another 200,000 years of life spent. Li Tianyi looked overjoyed. For others, the consumption of life is unavoidable. For him, the more lifespan he consumes, the more joyful it is. The cumulative lifespan of 1 million is getting closer and closer. Really looking forward to it. 3 pulls in the sun. Lang Lang, it's time for you to get up. No, sister, I need to sleep a little longer. I didn't sleep all night last night. Listening to his sister's screams beside the bed, Wang Langlang lay lazily on the bed, hugging the quilt and refusing to get up. I don't know how to get up. At least stay in bed all morning. My body is really too exhausted. It's obviously your first time, why are you so crazy? Wang Shuangyao said angrily. At the same time, I was glad that my sister was not around when I got married. Otherwise, I am afraid that my sister will say the same thing to me. Back then, I was almost exactly the same as Wang Langlang, and we had a busy meeting all night long. The next day was spent almost entirely in bed. Wang Shuangyao's reply was a small snore. The other side. Zongmin Main Hall. Except for Ji Yuqingxi, the sect leaders from other sects are also here today. This time they are not here to let female disciples practice with Li Tianyi. Senior, you are here. Seeing Li Tianyi coming, the clan leaders made way. Li Tianyi walked all the way to the position of the leader of Fengyan sect. Ji Yuqingxi wanted to move away, but Li Tianyi held her shoulder. You are pregnant now, just sit still. Ji Yuqingxi responded softly. As expected, her husband Li Tianyi cares about her. I wonder why you came to see me so early today. Li Tianyi asked. Senior, a secret realm that has been opened for centuries is about to be opened. We are here to inform you. Lu Bai cupped his hands and said. Secret realm, tell me about it. Li Tianyi had seen it in an ancient book of Fengyan sect before, but didn't understand too much. At that time, I was more focused on other things. Yes, senior, there is such a secret realm in our Yang Zongguo. It is rumored that it was left by a powerful god former. There are all kinds of rare treasures inside, but the secret realm is wrapped in a magic circle. No matter how hard we try, we haven't been able to shake it at all. This magic circle will open once every 100 years, revealing the intersection of the secret realm. Counting the time, the secret realm is about to begin. Lei Heng stepped forward and explained patiently to Li Tianyi. Although Li Tianyi didn't know much about the secret realm, but none of the nascent soul monks present questioned Li Tianyi's realm. The nascent soul Dzogchen realm that was revealed before was definitely not fake at all. Even if it is false, who would dare to question it? No one wants to be the one who stands out. Besides the time limit, what other restrictions does the secret realm have? Li Tianyi continued to ask. Senior, there is another restriction. Monks at the Golden Core stage and above cannot enter the secret realm. They will be blocked by the magic circle. Du Mingxie said. Otherwise, their group of nascent soul cultivators would have gone in and snatched up all the treasures of heaven and earth. However, they were unable to resist the power of the magic circle. Every time, only strong and talented disciples can be sent inside to snatch the secret treasure. But after such a long time, the talented and powerful disciples in each sect have basically entered the golden elixir stage. There are no suitable personnel. If we want to say that the most suitable personnel are now available, they are only the children of Ji Kongkong. Li Tianyi's children all have high levels of cultivation, and even more amazing talents. They also have a brother-sister relationship. Once you enter the secret realm, you will be like locusts entering an uninhabited land, searching for all the treasures inside. Now the seniors are all our own. The good things his children snatched belong to them, hee. That's why they called Li Tianyi. Is this what you think? I understand, of course there is no problem with that. My children are very lucky. There is no need for these sect leaders to tell themselves specifically. After Li Tianyi learned about the secret realm, he would let the children give it a try. That's great, senior. With your children, during this trip to the secret realm, our righteous sect will definitely be able to kill those demon sect disciples without leaving any trace behind. Lei Heng laughed loudly. The former disciples of the demon sect relied on forming cliques and special magical powers. Every time they visited the secret realm, there was a wave of looting and killing of disciples from various major sects. This made their sect very angry. But if you fight to the death with the opponent, others will reap the benefits. I could only hold back my anger. Now that the children of the seniors are here, things will definitely turn around this time. At least the disciples of the demon sect can't be so arrogant this time. Magic Gate. Li Tianyi narrowed his eyes. He was also very unhappy with the demon sect. It's not because of the secret realm, it's because the Magic Gate has attacked his two children twice. If it weren't for his teleportation, both Li Feng and Li Xing would have died long ago. This is equivalent to the hatred of killing a son, how could he forget it? Li Tianyi came back to his senses and asked, what time is it specifically? 3 days later. In 3 days, I will select a suitable child and follow the disciples of your sect to the secret realm. Yes, he waved to signal the 3 sect leaders to leave. Li Tianyi put his hand on Ji Yu Qingxi's bulging belly. Counting the time, Ji Yu Qingxi's good baby, Li's baby, will be born soon. Tianyi, have you decided what the child's name will be? Ji Yu Qingxi asked. The child hasn't been born yet, and I don't even know if it's a boy or a girl. What if I name it a boy and the baby is a girl? Li Tianyi joked. Then just think about it and be prepared. Ji Yu Qingxi rolled her eyes at Li Tianyi in a unique way. This made Li Tianyi a little confused. Thinking that Ji Yu Qingxi was still pregnant, he resisted his impulse. Don't tell anything until it's over. He would also like to visit Meng Jingwei later. Judging from talent and physique, Meng Jingwei's child should be born earlier than Ji Yu Qingxi. Just when Li Tianyi was strengthening his relationship with his wives, there was quite a bit of movement on the other side of the demon gate. The other side, Magic Gate. It is rare for the 4 demon sect masters to gather together. Sun was discussing the matter of this secret realm. The secret realm is about to be opened, and a wave of righteous disciples of that group of sects can be killed again. Baby in the country. Under the same level, our demon sect disciples are better. Of course, the devil's way is the orthodoxy. Remember not to go too far, otherwise they will have a headache if they really fight with us. The demon sect is still quite afraid of these righteous guys and will fight them tooth and nail. After all, everyone is about the same strength, and if you go too far, you will get burned. 3 days later, Lei Heng and his party approached Li Tianyi again. Senior, the secret realm is about to open, it's time to set off. Lu Bai said respectfully. Whether they can avenge their shame this time depends on the children of their predecessors. Li Tianyi said, although his children are not bad at all spiritual abilities. But some are just too young. Only 5 children were able to participate in this secret experience. The others are no more than 4 years old. in order to allow Li Tianyi's children to help the disciples of the Zhengdao sect in the secret realm. The other sect leaders were not stingy. He gave them many good spiritual weapons and magic weapons to enhance their own strength. Li Tianyi called over the 5 children he had chosen. Led by the eldest brother Li Xing, he is currently at the 5th level of foundation building and has been stuck for a long time. This is the limitation brought by middle-grade spiritual roots. It's not that he doesn't work hard enough, it's that his spiritual roots are a bit weak. As for the most talented Li Feng and Li Shu, after Li Feng inherited the inheritance of nascent soul's power, his own cultivation reached the astonishing 8th level of foundation building. Caught up with Li Tianyi again. Because Li Shu is still relatively young, his cultivation level is at the 1st level of foundation building, and he has just completed foundation building not long ago. Li Xing, although you are the eldest brother, Li Feng's cultivation is stronger. If there is a disagreement in the secret realm, Li Feng's opinion will prevail. Li Tianyi ordered. Li Xing is older and is the eldest brother. But in terms of cultivation and actual combat, he is completely inferior to Li Feng. Li Feng has been threatened since he was threatened by the guy from Grey Mist sect named Xing Li. It was as if some switch had been turned on. In addition to daily practice, what Li Feng did most was to sneak outside and wear the clothes of a Grey Fog sect disciple. He robbed and hunted the demon disciples everywhere. After killing him, he deliberately let one of them escape, and also reported his name to the Grey Mold sect's brothel. After this period of fighting, his actual combat experience has already surpassed this big brother. Even if the realm is the same, Li Feng can defeat Li Xing within 10 rounds. I understand, father. Li Xing had no objection at all. Father's words are absolute orders. As children, they just need to obey them. Li Feng felt extremely happy when he learned that his father had given him the power to lead the team. Boom! The huge ferry boat rises slowly, carrying the air current to blow the white mist flowing in the mountains. The disciples of the righteous sect who met the requirements and were of similar strength were all brought to the immortal boat by the sect masters. You remember, all subsequent actions in the secret realm will be based on Fengyan sect Li Feng's words. What he says is 1, and what he says is 2 is 2. If I know that anyone dares to refute Li Feng, he will be expelled from the school immediately. His cultivation will be abolished. Do you understand? Clear. The disciples of each major sect were trembling with fear from their own sect master. Who is this Li Feng? He was actually able to make the clan masters respect him so much. When the secret realm was opened before, there had never been a situation where one person could order all the sect disciples. The sects all fight on their own. It also gave the demons an opportunity. Senior, look. Lu Bai smiled flatteringly. Looking at the appearance of his old friend Lu Bai, Lei Heng became furious. Is this still the same Lu Bai from before? He is simply a loser next to his senior. It's so humble. Senior, it's your turn to give orders. Lu Bai said this in his heart. Lei Heng greeted Li Tianyi with a smile in the blink of an eye. That flattering expression was no better than "Chbb, Lu Bai." Set off. Li Tianyi said. Set off. All the disciples, sect masters and Li Tianyi boarded the immortal boat. Driven by the spirit stone, the huge immortal boat took everyone flying towards the secret realm. In addition to spiritual energy being able to drive immortal boats, spiritual stones can also be used. The direction of the immortal boat is controlled by the spiritual consciousness of the monks. The rolling hills are covered with green vegetation. The demonic energy soaring into the sky seemed to have polluted the surrounding air, making the originally vibrant vegetation turn yellow and dying. Countless beasts felt the danger of death and fled one after another. Why haven't those hypocrites from Zhengdao come yet? I don't know, maybe it was because the pain it brought to them 100 years ago was so great that they can't accept it now. Ha ha ha, Zhengdao people are so inferior. Stop making noise, they are coming. When the disciples of the demon sect were talking about it, a huge golden ferry boat came from the distance. The pure golden aura was like a sun driving away darkness, suppressing the demonic aura of everyone in the demon sect. The two sides formed a sharp contrast. Coming. Strange, why is there only one ferry boat this year? Is there only one sect here? No, they all came, but they just rode a ferry boat together. The masters of the demon sect noticed the aura of nascent soul on the immortal boat. It was immediately clear that everyone on the other side was on the ferry boat. It seems that these righteous sects are preparing to unite to fight against the demonic sects this year. What a small trick. So what if you cooperate? The disciples of the demon sect will definitely be able to kill you to pieces again. You are well, old friends. Yo, Sect Master GU is pregnant. If you have a big belly, don't get involved in this kind of thing. Be careful of the child in your belly. The ferry boat just floated in the sky. 4 demonic people stood in front of everyone. They are the masters of 4 magic sects respectively. The person speaking at this time was Jiyu Lincheng, the leader of the Grey Fog sect. Who is he? Li Tianyi noticed the other party's clothing. It's very similar to the Grey Fog door. Senior, he is Jiyu Lincheng, the sect leader of the Grey Fog sect. Don't worry, just leave it to me. Lu Bai signaled Li Tianyi to ignore them. He stepped forward alone and said, Jiyu Lincheng, I thought you were dead a long time ago, but I didn't expect you could live for 100 years. It really surprised me. Ha ha ha, Lu Bai, don't worry about this. If you don't die, how can I be willing to die? Jiyu Lincheng's face was gloomy and his skin was covered with bones. It made his face extremely ugly and disgusting. He looked like a dying man. This has something to do with the Grey Fog sect's technique. I want to ask sect leader Jiyu, whose child is this in your belly? Could it be that you can't help feeling lonely? You can come to me for such trivial matters. I am happy to accompany Sect Master Jiyu to search for the true meaning of life and the bliss. Ha ha ha, Kai Yuanxi, another bloodthirsty sect leader, spoke sarcastically at Jiyu Qingxi and the child in her belly. It caused other sect owners nearby to laugh. Jiyu Qingxi's beautiful eyes turned cold, and a trace of anger appeared on her pretty face. She was about to step forward and attack Qiyuan Stone. Li Tianyi next to him grabbed his wrist with his hand. Li Tianyi signaled with his eyes, leave it to me. Jiyu Qingxi looked at Li Tianyi, her anger immediately dissipated. Looking at Tianyi with tender eyes, he nodded. Silently retreated behind Li Tianyi. It feels so good to have a man. Just like when I was verbally insulted before, I had to respond to the people myself. With a man, you don't need to take action, the man can help you solve this trouble. Why couldn't I have met Li Tianyi earlier? The demon sect originally thought that their ridicule would make Lu Bai and the others angry. But they found that Lu Bai and the others were not only lifeless, but also looked at them with a pitiful expression. Just when they don't know why, Li Tianyi took a step forward and said, Jiyu Lincheng, the leader of the Grey Fog sect, and Kai Yuanxi, the leader of the Bloodthirsty sect, right? Why? We are right, yo, I didn't expect that there is a mortal on this ferry boat. Jiyu Lincheng didn't notice Li Tianyi at first. After Li Tianyi stood up, he noticed that there was a mortal standing among the group of monks. Because he had exposed the factors of his nascent soul's ocean, cultivation level, Li Tianxuan now hides his level to show others. Otherwise, if you maintain other realms, your flaws will be easily seen. Might as well remain a mystery. It seems that your sect is really lonely, even mortals have been brought here. Qiyuanxi smacked his lips and said, if this situation continues, the righteous sect will soon be surpassed by their demonic sect. That's right if it's you. Let me introduce myself. I am Jiyu Qingxi's man, and the child in her belly is my child. Li Tianyi said calmly. The other sect leaders did not show any performance. This shows that they should be a little doubtful about the authenticity of their nascent soul's ocean realm. In the world of cultivating immortals, there is a technique that can change one's own breath. Although there are few, it does not mean that there are none. They didn't dare to try Li Tianyi's authenticity. But the unknowing moment can become a tool in their hands to try Li Tianyi. If Li Tianyi is fake, they don't have to be so humble. If it is true, Li Tiantian's hand can also be used to give the changeman a heavy blow. No matter what the result is, it is good for them. The powerful nascent soul who have been able to live for such a long time are all human beings. How can they be so stupid? Our mansion is deep. Are you Jiyu Qingxi's man? Li Tianyi's words stunned Kai Yuanxi. His first reaction was disbelief. The one who knows best must be your opponent. This is not true at all. Kai Yuanxi knew very well that he was scolding Jiyu Qingxi, but in his heart he knew that Jiyu Qingxi was a strong woman. And she will never look for a man just because of her own selfish desires. She is very discerning. Now Li Tianyi says that he is Jiyu Qingxi's husband. Who would believe it? Stop joking, mortal, you have no business to interrupt. You'd better get out now, otherwise you will end up miserable. Jiyu Lincheng said fiercely. Get out. No, 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 it's you who should get out. I just want to find you. Now we can settle the old and new accounts together. Li Tianyi will never forget how the Grey Fog sect and the Bloodthirsty sect hurt his son. Although it was not successful, it was done. Next moment. Consumes 100,000 years of life. Li Tianyi, whose aura was originally as calm as water, suddenly erupted with a huge wave. The sudden scene caught Jiyu Lincheng and Kai Yuanxi by surprise, and they froze on the spot with dull faces. His whole body was suppressed by an extremely terrifying aura. This is nascent soul Zochan. Boom. A dangerous red light sounded in the minds of Qi Yuanxi and Jiyu Lincheng. Sensing something was wrong, they just wanted to run away. A terrifying aura fell on them. It was as if long and strong chains locked their souls, making them unable to control their trembling bodies. In an instant, boom, Kai Yuanxi and Jiyu Lincheng, who were the powerful nascent soul, were directly exploded into clouds of blood mist. The power released by Li Tianyi is like an unstoppable dragon, annihilating the enemy in front of him and continuing to fly forward. Rumble. The peaks rising from the mountains in front were smashed by the ruthless dragon, and dust and sand rose tens of thousands of feet high. The resounding sound that shattered the mountains echoed in everyone's ears. Like a huge drumstick, beating their hearts. Even the surrounding space shook a bit, turning into substantial fluctuations that swept across. The people present were stunned and could not recover for a long time. He is obviously a monk who has cultivated the nascent soul Zochan, so why should he disguise himself as an ordinary person? Does everyone like this kind of play? After a while. Senior, what you said just now was all said by Kai Yuanxi and Jiyu Lincheng. No, it has nothing to do with us. Senior, please don't hurt me. Wei Kei, the master of the Broken Corpse sect, landed on the immortal boat in fear. There is no dignity at all of the nascent soul cultivator. He directly chose to kneel in front of Li Tianyi and beg for mercy. Li Wenbo, the leader of the Eating Flesh sect next to him, came back to his senses when he saw this. He followed Wei Kei in fear and knelt in front of Li Tianyi. Senior, please spare our lives. We promise that the demon sect will no longer harass you and your sect from now on. Joke. The senior in front of me said this unceremoniously. It is absolutely possible for him to lead the sect behind him and wipe out all the demon sects in their Yang sect, leaving no trace behind. This is not the result they want to see. The best way is to quickly kneel down in front of Li Tianyi and admit your mistake. Now they finally understand why these guys from the Zhengdao sect want to ride on a ferry boat together. It turns out there is a senior in charge. They didn't even receive any news. You are. Li Tianyi waved his sleeves calmly. It seemed that eliminating the two nascent soul cultivators was an insignificant matter to him. It just so happened that those two guys were standing next to each other. Li Tianyi only had to spend 100,000 years of his life to kill both of them at the same time, which was quite profitable. It can also let Liu Bai and the others behind him, who want to test themselves, see clearly their own strength. Let them tuck their tails between their legs and behave like human beings. Use your peripheral vision to knock him unconscious. You can see that Liu Bai and the others look at him with more respect. Especially there was a hint of fear in his eyes. Deterrence is the best weapon. I am the sect leader of the Broken Corpse sect, Wei Kei, senior, you can just call me Xiao Kei. Wei Kei frantically wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. My legs couldn't stop shaking. As a person of the Devil's Path, he was finally able to survive the Thunder Tribulation and become a nascent soul. He cherishes his life more than the righteous people. He must not die. There is still a lot of time that has not been spent. I am Li Wenbo, the leader of the flesh-eating sect, senior, just call me Zhaobo. Li Wenbo performed better than Wei Kei. Not as panicked as Wei Kei. He felt that there was no obvious conflict between himself and his seniors. He probably wouldn't let his senior kill him. Go back to your place and do what you should do. If you can't do it, I don't mind teaching you how to do it. Li Tianyi said coldly. Yes, senior. Whoosh. Li Wenbo and Wei Kei quickly disappeared in front of Li Tianyi. Returned to the camps of their respective sects. Then you can see the people from the demon sect, except the Grey Mist sect and the Bloodthirsty sect, who are also a little confused. The other two sects, led by Wei Kei and Li Wenbo, quickly left the entrance of the ruins on immortal boats. They don't dare to stay here anymore. Even if their lives are about to be lost, they are still thinking about robbing some relics and treasures. They are crazy to continue to stay here. Senior, what should we do with these disciples of the demon sect? As Yuanying monks, Liu Bai, Lei Heng and Du Mingxie took action. Their sect masters are all dead. Naturally, it was their turn to take revenge. He immediately used his own power to form a temporary magic circle, trapping the disciples of the two sects in place, waiting for Li Tianyi to give orders. Kill them all. Li Tianyi will never be merciful if he offends his children and wife. Let go of those two demon sect guys, just because they are too lazy to spend another 100,000 years of life. If they continue to show off, he doesn't mind spending more of his lifespan to wipe out all the demon sects. They are kept in order to create a containment with this group of righteous guys. Yes, Liu Bai and the others did not hesitate at all. Soon, screams arose in this area. After a while, the originally yellow-brown earth was stained with blood-red clothes, giving off a strange and fishy smell. The nascent soul can kill this group of monks in the foundation building stage, it's just a matter of skill. It doesn't take much energy. Senior, we've got everything done. Lei Heng smiled happily. He had long been unhappy with these demon disciples. Previously, due to the presence of their sect leader, they didn't want to start a big fight with the other party, lest other sects take advantage of it. Now that their sect leaders are dead, they no longer need to worry about anything. It's a pity that although the sect master is dead, it doesn't mean that the Grey Mist sect and the Bloodthirsty sect have completely disappeared. All the supreme elders and elders of their two sects are still in the sect. If you want to destroy them, it will also take some effort. But they didn't take it seriously. With seniors here, please ask seniors to take action, it's all done. I have removed the obstacles for you. What is left to do is left to you. I am leaving. Call. A breeze blew. Li Tianyi disappeared silently. Liu Bai and his group of sect leaders were once again surprised. I actually can't detect the scent of senior leaving. Liu Bai swallowed. Lei Heng rubbed his eyes and probed carefully with his spiritual sense, but he couldn't detect the aura of his senior at all. It seems that the senior's realm is higher than we imagined. Du Mingxie lowered her head and thought. Even the nascent soul Zochin could not disappear instantly in front of their group of nascent soul cultivators without being noticed at all. Unless the other party's realm is more than nascent soul Zochin. It's not the nascent soul stage, that's. After everyone guessed this, they didn't dare to continue talking. So scary. With a bone age of 49 and less than 50, it is impossible for him to be a powerful person in the transformation stage, right? Ji Yu Qingxi and Meng Jingwei looked at each other and smiled. The stronger their men are, the happier they will be as wives. Don't speculate on the realm of the seniors for the time being. The door to the secret realm is about to open. Li Feng, I will ask you to lead the disciples into it to find opportunities. Liu Bai looked at Li Feng. Perhaps it was because of Li Tianyi that he looked at Li Feng with a lot of respect. You must not leave any bad impression on Li Feng. Otherwise, he would turn around and tell his father what to do. By then, I'm afraid they will end up like those two guys, becoming a ball of blood mist without even a last word. I understand, Sect Master Liu. The gate to the ruins is open. Li Feng led the disciples from each sect through the large formation outside the ruins and entered the interior of the ruins. Among the ruins, just after entering it, Li Feng allowed other disciples from the sect to explore freely. This, Li Feng, the sect leader clearly asked us to explore with you, but now we are separated as soon as we come in. Wouldn't it be a little bad? I heard Li Feng say this. A Lu Yi sect disciple stood up and asked. My father has solved all the demon sects. Do you still have to be afraid of this and that when entering the secret realm? Li Feng asked rhetorically. Of course not. Let's go then. If you get hurt then, don't blame us. When this Lu Yi sect disciple heard this, he immediately blushed. I wanted to refute Li Feng. But when he thought of Li Tianyi's existence, he sighed inwardly. Who doesn't have such a great father? He could only take his Lu Yi sect disciples and leave the place. Seeing Luya's sect disciples doing this, other disciples followed suit, did the same. It's just a matter of effort. Li Feng and his brothers and sisters were the only ones left there. Huh, these guys have finally left. I was originally thinking about how to drive them away. Second sister Li Shui'er rubbed her white neck and said, if they don't leave, we'll drive them away. Anyway, with their strength, they can't be our opponent. Li Feng said confidently. That's the second sister. With me and brother Li Feng here, these guys can be easily captured. Li Shu waved his fist in a pretentious manner. As early as when entering the ruins, father made a plan for them. In order to ensure that the plan went smoothly, they had to get rid of this group of general disciples in advance. If they really refused to leave, just use force to send them away. I didn't expect that, brother Li Shu, you are already at the first level of foundation building. I'm so happy and congratulated. Third sister Li Yan congratulated her. It's been a long time since I paid attention to my younger siblings. As expected of a younger brother with high-grade spiritual roots, he is growing up very fast. She has only just built one level of foundation now. I didn't expect that brother Li Shu would catch up so quickly. When will father come? Li Xing said doubtfully. Li Feng glanced around. They were now in a yellow-brown space. Here you only need to activate your spiritual power a little, and you can float in midair without using a sword. There are many broken rocks floating around. You can also see buildings floating in the air in the distance. It's a pity that it's impossible to estimate the time. Li Feng couldn't see the sun and couldn't tell where the time was. Li Feng, my father didn't say when he would come. How about we brothers and sisters go and explore first? Li Shui'er saw the building not far away and became interested in exploring. I'm here. Li Tianyi appeared beside Li Feng silently. Father. When they saw Li Tianyi for the first time, all the brothers and sisters were happy. Father indeed has a way to get in. Before they came in, their father told them to leave the sect's disciples. He would soon be at their side to join him. Although they don't know what means their father has to get in, they believe that his father can definitely do it. Respond softly to your children. Li Tianyi took a closer look at the ruins. After hearing about the ruins 3 days ago, he started reading ancient books about the ruins. It seems to be similar to what is recorded in ancient books. Let's go. Take the kids on a treasure hunt. Li Tianyi and his family are very lucky. Almost every time I go to a hall, I can find a lot of good things. Such as elixirs, exercises, and weapons. But there was nothing that surprised Li Tianyi. These things combined are not as good as the 3-turn mysterious skill that Li Feng found. Does this ruin only have gadgets like this? Li Yan picked up the spiritual skills in her hands and felt a little bored. All the good passion for treasure hunting was exhausted in one fell swoop. These techniques are not as good as the Fengyanju that Patriarch Ji Yu taught them. 997. Because of the current relationship between Li Tianyi and Ji Yu Qingxi handed over the Fengyan sect to Li Tianyi's children. No one is left behind. Sister, as a monk, you still have to be patient. Nothing is still behind. Li Feng was able to keep his composure. Anyway, he has the 3rd-turn mystical skill. If his father hadn't allowed him to hand over the 3rd transformation mysterious skill to his brothers and sisters who didn't have high-grade spiritual roots, he had already passed on the 3 transformation mysterious skills to Li Yan. But it's like what my father said. Giving the 3rd transformation Zongong to brothers and sisters who do not have high-grade spiritual roots will not only make them stronger, but will also greatly slow down their growth. I've seen it almost. You can continue to explore on your own. I briefly learned personally what relics are. Li Tianyi is ready to return. Anyway, if there is something good, your children will be the first to take it back to honor their father. Yes, father. The words just fell. Li Tianyi once again located the aura of the child in Fengyan sect and returned to Fengyan sect. I wonder when my father will teach me this magical power. Li Feng said with some excitement. What's wrong? Are you still interested in your father's magical powers? Li Xing joked. No, brother, think about it. If we learn this ability from our father, doesn't it mean that we can support our brothers and sisters anytime and anywhere? Li Feng thought further. Just like when my life was in danger before. It was his father who teleported to him to solve his troubles. If they can learn it, they can rush over to help their brothers and sisters when they need them most. That makes sense. Why don't we ask Father about it after we go back? Li Xing smiled. If it was a magical power they could learn, their father would be happy to teach it to them. Hey, come on, there is a big palace gate in front of you. I suspect there must be something good. Li Shui'er looked at the palace gate above her head and happily called for her brothers and sisters to come over. Come over and have a look. The 5 brothers and sisters quickly flew up. Fengyan Sect. Li Tianyi had just returned to Feiyan Peak not long ago. Zhongshan came over with 2 girls. I didn't expect that seniors are still in Fengyan Sect. I thought you would follow them to guard the ruins. Zhongshan said a little surprised. Today was the time to open the ruins, he knew it very well. But the royal family does not need this relic. It's not that the royal family doesn't care about it, it's that they have a cave within the royal family specifically for practice. Rumor has it that it was a cave created by the first-generation leader of the Yongzhong kingdom to become a god. The royal family has had the idea of relics before. It's a pity that he was blocked by both the evil way and the righteous way at the same time. They think that the royal family already owns the cave, and it is really shameless to come to snatch the things in the ruins from them. The royal family is also worried that they will jump over the wall in a hurry. Just voluntarily give up the ruins and continue to digest your own cave. What a coincidence, I just came back from the ruins. Li Tianyi slowly told Zhongshan what happened outside the ruins in great detail. When he learned that the 2 powerful nascent souls had died in the hands of Li Tianyi, Zhongshan's lips twitched. He is worthy of being a Dzogchen monk. This powerful person who killed 2 nascent soul stages was very easy to say, just like killing a chicken. Kai Yuanxi and Ji Yu Lincheng, I have long wanted to find an opportunity to kill them, but I didn't expect that my senior would take the lead. As expected of senior, by the way, I almost forgot why I came here to find senior. These are my 2 daughters, namely Zhang Qian and Zhang Xiying. Zhongshan happily introduced his 2 daughters to Li Tianyi. They are the good quality spiritual roots of the metal system and the good quality spiritual roots of the wood system. Are they all good spiritual roots? Li Tianyi said. It doesn't make sense. Even Luya sect can send a female disciple with high-grade spiritual roots. Zhang Huayu is the only one in the royal family. Seniors like this, high-grade spirits are very rare at all, not to mention the requirement that they be women, so I can only send these 2 daughters temporarily. Originally, there was another princess in Zhongshan's roster. It's just that this princess happened to come to Kuishui today. Before, Zhongshan would have waited patiently. Ever since I learned that Lu Bai had sent out a female disciple with a high-grade spiritual root, he lost patience. Let's bring these 2 princesses over first. Senior, these are the 5,000 high-grade spiritual stones agreed upon. The 2 of you have a total of 10,000. Please keep them. Zhongshan handed the prepared spiritual stone to Li Tianyi. This is probably the first time in the entire world of immortality that someone pays someone to marry his daughter. Let alone the world of immortality. Looking at the 3,000 worlds is not simple. I accepted it, you still want to keep it. Li Tianyi quickly took out the spirit stone inside. Start absorbing it in front of everyone. Li Tianyi regained his lifespan of 100,000 yuan and felt refreshed all over. I didn't expect that the 100,000 lifespan just spent would be repaid so quickly. When he came back to his senses and found that Zhongshan was still where he was, Li Tianyi frowned slightly. Zhongshan reacted and immediately smiled sheepishly. I'm sorry, senior, I'm a little lost. Then he stood up. Remember what I told you. With these words, Zhongshan left the courtyard. As soon as Zhongshan left, Li Tianyi asked, what did Zhongshan say to you? Nothing, His Majesty didn't tell us anything. Zhang Qian and Zhang Xiying looked at each other and shook their heads in tacit agreement. Looking at the expressions on their faces, you can tell that Zhongshan must have said something to threaten them. If you don't say anything, just leave. Li Tianyi now has the capital to speak and choose. So what if he regrets it after absorbing the spirit stone? With his own strength at his disposal, Zhongshan didn't dare to even fart. At most, it's just a matter of mentally arranging him. No, senior, you absolutely cannot drive us away. Zhang Qian became anxious upon hearing this. Anxiously, she knelt down in front of Li Tianyi without any airs of a princess. Zhang Xiying on the other side was afraid that Li Tianyi would really drive them away, so she had to tell the truth. They are indeed princesses, but they are just one of many princesses. At best, she is a princess, at worst, she is a political tool that can be used for marriage at any time. It has to do with their mothers. Their mother is not a person of high status. She is just the lowest concubine of her father. Zhang Shan promised them that as long as they serve Li Tianyi well and get pregnant with Li Tianyi's children, they can improve their mother's status. So that their mother would not be bullied in the harem. So that's it, I know. Li Tianyi nodded. He finally learned some things about the palace. Many people can't help themselves. So what if she is a princess? In front of the emperor, she is just a nephew who can be discarded easily. Unless they can be as loved by Zhang Huayu as Zhang Huayu. Said without politeness. Senior, can you not drive us away? Zhang Qian said in a crying voice. Zhang Xiying looked at Li Tianyi bitterly. Once Li Tianyi drives them away, their fate can be imagined. I will not drive you away. Remember, from now on you are no longer the princess of Yang Zongguo, but my woman, Li Tianyi, do you understand? Caressing Zhang Qian's head, Li Tianyi said softly. We understand. Knight, host, Li Tianyi, age, 49. Cultivation, 8th level of foundation building. Qualification, 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining life, 2,575,011. It is detected that the host is giving birth to an heir, and the partner's spiritual root is a good quality wood-type spiritual root. After spending 10 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant will be a middle-grade wood-type spiritual root. It consumes 100 years of life, and the offspring spiritual root is a good quality wood spiritual root. After spending 1,000 years of life, the spiritual roots of the descendants will be high-grade wood spiritual roots. After spending 10,000 years of life, the spiritual roots of the descendants are wood-type super-grade spiritual roots. It takes thousands of years. Zhang Qian and Zhang Xiying are both good quality spiritual roots. One night, Li Tianyi spent 20,000 years of his life to make them pregnant with his children. Ding! It was detected that Li Xing had an adventure and obtained a magic weapon. Ding! It was detected that Li Yan had an adventure and obtained a magic weapon. Ding! Li Yuan and Zhan had an unexpected encounter and found a spiritual treasure. Ding! It was detected that Li Shuier had an adventure and obtained a prefecture-level mid-level skill. An adventure. It seems that they finally found something good in the ruins. Li Tianyi is happy for the children. The next day. As soon as Zhang Qian and Zhang Xiying were comforted, Ji Yuqingxi and the others came back. This time there is no fight and harassment from the Demon Gate. Their trip to the ruins was fruitful. Everyone has a smile on their face. Senior, needless to say, I know, you can go back, I want to talk to my children. This, we understand, let's go. Liu Bai wiped his nose and wanted to share the joy with his senior. Unexpectedly, the senior only sees his own children. Forget it, it's better to return to the sect quickly and share this joy with your elders. Watching this group of people. The only people left in front of Li Tianyi were his children, Ji Yuqingxi and Meng Jingwei. They are all their own now. It's okay to know a little bit about something. Their relationship with Li Tianyi has reached a level that will last until death. Sorry father, I didn't find anything good. Li Feng was the first to say. He was afraid that he would disappoint his father. Li Feng is the team leader. My brothers and sisters have all found their own adventures. Unfortunately, he wandered around for a long time and found nothing. Just some junk. Everyone's adventures are different. Besides, you had your own adventure before and you didn't find it in the ruins. This is normal and you don't need to keep it in your heart. Li Tianyi comforted Li Feng and said, my son is more respectable and quite normal. After all, he was born with high-grade spiritual roots and attracted much attention. Brothers and sisters follow his example. This time, he couldn't compare with his brothers and sisters, and Li Feng felt a little frustrated. Father, these are the things we found in the ruins. Li Xing handed his space ring to Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi took the ring and used his spiritual sense to explore the space inside. It was all the children's gains from the ruins. That's right, you can take it back and share it. If there is something helpful to your younger brothers and sisters, just give it to them. Li Tianyi returned the space ring to Li Xing. These things were of no use to him. Even if he has 27 spiritual treasures, he can't use them. It is better to give it to children and let them enhance their own strength. Okay, dear. Li Xing nodded. My stomach hurts a little, Tianyi, I might be giving birth. Meng Jingwei suddenly said. She frowned, and cold sweat began to appear on her forehead. Giving birth. Li Tianyi immediately picked up Meng Jingwei and carried her into the room next to her. There happened to be no one in that room. In the morning, Zhang Qian and Zhang Xiying had already gone to the rooms assigned to them. So the room is still empty. Not long after Meng Jingwei entered, Ji Yuqing also noticed bursts of pain in his stomach. Sect Master Ji Yu, are you going to give birth too? Li Shui'er hurriedly supported Ji Yuqing. It seems like today is quite a coincidence. Ji Yuqing forced a smile. He waved to Li Shui'er with his hand, indicating that Ji Shui'er didn't need to support her. Went to the house by myself. After a while, Li Tianyi came out of the house and waited for the birth of the children. Feiyan Peak began to vibrate, and grains of sand and dust emerged in the air driven by spiritual energy. Thick dark clouds began to gather in the sky, and blue thunder flashed in the dark clouds. Rumble. The low thunder sounded like a beast roaring in the clouds, making a deafening roar. Such a huge movement naturally attracted the other elders. Who is giving birth? Shi Ziyuan still took his ancient constitution book and started to flip through it. Ji Yuqing and Meng Jingwei. Li Tianyi said. It turns out to be the sect leader and Elder Meng. Zhang Hai exclaimed. No wonder it can make such a big noise. The natural phenomenon caused by the birth of a genius has never been witnessed before. The understanding of the natural phenomena comes from the book in Shi Ziyuan's hand. Now they finally know what birth vision is like. Natural phenomena in Fengyan sect are not uncommon now. They're all a little used to it. Boom. A bolt of blue lightning pierced the sky, making the entire Fengyan sect light up several degrees. Then it dimmed. Meng Jingwei and Ji Yuqing walked out holding their children at the same time. It's a boy, Meng Jingwei said. Girl. Ji Yuqing, a first-time mother, looked at her child. Show a warm smile. Is this what it's like to be a mother? Judging from the disappearance of the vision of heaven and earth, the boy should have been born first, right? Li Tianyi asked. Well, my child was born first. Meng Jingwei nodded. The boy's name is Li Chensha, and the girl's name is Li Fuyu. Li Tianyi has already thought of the names of the children. Seeing Bai Keliu coming up to test the spiritual roots again, he waved his hand and said, one high-grade earth spiritual root, and one ultra-high-grade thunder root, W. You know the children you gave birth to best. Not counting the children still pregnant in her belly, Li Tianyi now has a total of 22 children. Magic Gate. Huang Ji Yu Shen Ti. Why did we only receive this news now? It turns out that Senior is the ancient kidney body. Hey, Wei Kei, you said we go find Senior, can Senior agree to us? The first thing to do when I go back. The Corpse Sect and the Flesh Erosion Sect have united together. It began to devour the properties and disciples left behind by the Bloodthirsty Sect and Grey Mist Sect. I learned that the other party was not here to destroy me. Those demon sect disciples who lost their sect masters gave up their resistance and voluntarily joined these two sects. Then Wei Kei and Li Wenbo inquired about this Senior. I want to know where this Senior came from and why he suddenly appeared in Yang Baobao. As they investigated, they discovered something surprising. That's the news about the ancient kidney body. After learning about the powerful abilities of the Wangu kidney body, the two sect leaders were dumbfounded. There is a feeling of not keeping up with the times. No wonder those sects would follow the lead of their predecessors and still have ancient kidney bodies after doing it for a long time. Promise us. Don't think about it, it would be a good idea if you don't kill us. Wei Kei said unhappily. Although he was a little moved, he didn't dare to take the Senior's idea at all. Seniors have already said, don't appear in front of him again. Once it appears, Ji Yu Lincheng and them will be the best result. That's not true. We have no grievances with our Seniors. Besides, Seniors seem to be in need of a woman with good qualifications. If we go find it for Senior, there's no way Senior can kill us, right? Li Wenbo felt that Li Tianyi was not the kind of person to kill. Otherwise, they would have been slaughtered on the spot. Where can I still keep them till now? Do you know your Senior? If you don't, how can you be sure of your senior's character? I advise you to be more honest. Like me, I plan to hide in the Broken Corpse Gate with my sect disciples and never show up easily. Wei Kei was afraid of death anyway. He couldn't afford to gamble. Whatever you want, I plan to go find Senior and take a gamble, so what if Senior wants to kill me? Quote. Whether it's a blessing or a curse, everything depends on fate. Li Wenbo left Wei Kei's side, returned to his own flesh-eating sect. He immediately called his great elder and asked him to help find a woman with good spiritual roots in the sect. Flesh-eating sect. Is there any woman with high-grade spiritual roots in our sect? Li Wenbo asked. The great elder thought for a moment and said, there is one person, Lord Sect Master, have you forgotten? Lord Saint. Saint, yes, I almost forgot about her. Quick, bring the saint. Li Wenbo said happily. Wait a minute, Lord Sect Master, can you tell me first, why are you looking for a saint? The great elder is still confused. Seeing that the great elder was confused, Li Wenbo quickly told the great elder about the senior Huangji Yu Shen body. After listening to Li Wenbo's words, the great elder finally understood why the sect leader wanted to find a qualified woman as soon as he came back. But Lord Sect Leader, the saint was originally intended to be presented to the Holy Son of the Heavenly Demon Sect as a cauldron. If you give it to this senior, if the Holy Son of the Heavenly Demon Sect finds out. The great elder said no more. Heavenly Demon Sect. It is one of the demonic forces of Dingyang Dynasty. The sect has a powerful person in the God transformation stage who is much stronger than their flesh-eating sect. Originally, this saint was dedicated to the Holy Son of the Heavenly Demon Sect just to climb onto the lap of the Heavenly Demon Sect. Now it was given to this mysterious senior in the blink of an eye. If the Holy Son of the Heavenly Demon Sect finds out, wouldn't they be finished with the flesh-eating sect? What are you afraid of? The agreement with the Holy Son is to wait until the Holy Girl becomes the nascent soul, which is still early. Li Wenbo said, with this time, at worst, we can find a woman with high-grade spiritual roots and package her as a saint to give an explanation to the Holy Son of the Wumo sect. Anyway, the other party has never even met the saint. I have only seen the portrait of the saint. After so many years, he didn't believe that the Holy Son still kept that portrait. So what if it is saved? Who can ensure that the saint has not changed over the years? You can just find any excuse to get over it. Sir, the sect master said that you care, I will call the saint right away. The great elder suddenly realized. Let's put aside the matter of the Holy Son of the Heavenly Demon Sect for the time being, it's still going on. The top priority is to obtain current benefits first. Royal family, you are finally back, Fengling, I miss you so much. Zhang Shan almost cried when he looked at his little daughter Zhang Fengling in front of him. After receiving the news, his daughter finally rushed back from Dingyang Dynasty. Father, didn't you say that the royal family is in trouble and is in danger? Why do I look like nothing has changed? Same as Sister Jiu. Zhang Fengling inherited her mother's beauty. She was as graceful and fair as a hibiscus. There was a hint of doubt in the turquoise jeweled eyes. She received news from her father. He said that his royal family had encountered an unprecedented crisis and would soon be unable to sustain it. After hearing the news, Zhang Fengling rushed back in a hurry. But they arrived in Yangzhonguo. Zhang Fengling only saw peace and harmony in the country and the people. There is no crisis at all, as the father mentioned. You haven't understood what I mean yet, Fengling, let me tell you. Are you Fengling's father? Zhang Shan just wanted to hold Zhang Fengling's hand and explain the situation to her. A mellow and sweet female voice came from outside, and the woman's picturesque appearance came into Zhang Shan's eyes. The flawless white skin is like the white snow in winter, and the white is tinged with red, just like white jade. The eyebrows are picturesque, with a pair of willow leaf eyebrows showing a bit of tenderness. The slim figure is dressed in green clothes. 3,000 blue hairs are bound by a simple wooden hairpin. Fengling, she is. Zhang Shan never thought of it. He just wanted his daughter to return to the royal family. There was actually a person following behind. He couldn't even see through the state of such a stunning woman. It means that the other party is at least the 5th level of nascent soul or above. Hey, I forgot to introduce you to my father. Zhang Fengling ran to the woman's side and introduced. this is my senior sister, Chong Rumiao. You must be Fengling's father. Hello, first time we meet, I am Fengling's senior sister. Master asked me to accompany Fengling here to see if I could be of any help. Chong Rumiao explained. However, she carefully observed the entire palace and found that there was no crisis. Everything was so peaceful. It's not at all as critical as Mei Fengling said. Something went wrong. They would also say that the trouble had been solved and they were late. Thank you Fairy Chong for your kindness, but this is our own internal matter within the royal family, so you should not interfere. Joke. With Chong Rumiao around, how could Zhongshan start his next plan? Chong Rumiao must be sent away. Chong Rumiao fell silent. Although she grew up in the sect from birth, this does not mean that she does not understand the ways of the world. The other party's words were obviously driving him away. I don't want to get involved in his affairs. It seems that the royal family should really have no trouble. Father, what are you talking about? Senior sister came here to help us out of kindness. Zhang Fengling rolled her eyes at Zhongshan complainingly. Even if my father doesn't like senior sister, he still has to think about senior sister's realm and the sect's power behind her. Strangeness. In the past, didn't my father most want to have social relations with the sect behind him? What happened today? I know Fairy Chang's good intentions, but our royal family really doesn't need Fairy Chang's help. Zhongshan really wanted to have a relationship with the other sect before. Only in this way can the royal family have a backer to intimidate the sects in Yangzong. But now he doesn't want to. What he has to do now is to let Princess Ji Kongkong give birth to a child. It is better to rely on others than to strengthen your own strength. It's okay, Fengling, I understand, Your Majesty, but I came here with my junior sister after all. Master told me. We must protect the safety of junior sister, and we must go back together when we go back. Chong Rumiao will not walk alone. The order she received was to protect Feng Feng from getting hurt. In the territory of Yangzongguo, her 8th level of nascent soul was enough to protect her junior sister from walking sideways. Zhongshan was speechless for a moment. Chong Rumiao never left Zhang Fengling, which made it difficult for him to explain the situation to Zhang Fengling. Moreover, Chong Rumiao is there. Even if he wanted to intimidate Zhang Fengling, he couldn't. After thinking about it, Zhongshan coughed. Ahem, Feng Ling. I'm here, father. Zhang Fengling won't leave for the time being. I haven't been back for a long time. Since I've come here, I might as well stay for a while before going back. You can also take your senior sister to experience the customs of Yangzongguo. I will arrange a marriage for you, what do you think? Zhongshan said. Marriage, father, are you going to marry another family? Zhang Fengling originally had a happy face. His face suddenly turned cold. The reason why she practiced hard and left Yangzongguo rebelliously. Just to get rid of his fate as a princess in marriage. Ever since she joined the sect behind her, the father never mentioned any marriage again, and his attitude towards her became much better. Just to cling to the big group behind her. But now her father mentioned this matter to her again, which made her extremely angry. If she hadn't taken her senior sister for a stroll, she might have left with a dark face on the spot. Junior sister, if you don't want to get married, no one can restrict your freedom. Seeing this, Chong Rumiao added. No wonder the royal family is fine. It turns out that the junior sister's father wants her to get married. As a political tool, as long as I am around, it is absolutely impossible for junior sister to become this tool. Zhongshan almost held his forehead, but the situation he was worried about still happened. If Chong Rumiao is not there, he can still use some means. There is always softness and mist. What can he do? Correct. Zhongshan suddenly remembered that Fairy Chong Rusha was a woman. May I ask Fairy Chong, what is the level of your spiritual root? My spiritual root. Chong Rumiao was a little surprised. As she was talking, her spiritual root was suddenly pulled. However, when others asked, she still said politely, I am a wood-type super-grade spiritual root. Wood-type super spiritual root. For a moment, Zhongshan's eyes became very hot when he looked at Chong Rumiao. If Chong Rumiao is brought to the seniors, wouldn't it be possible to give birth to a child with perfect spiritual roots? I can't believe it. Feeling Zhongshan's fiery eyes, Chong Rumiao frowned slightly. She could detect that the other person's eyes were not greedy like a man looking at a woman. But why does it make her feel slightly malicious? Fengyan Sect. Fei Yunfeng. Tao gives birth to one, one gives birth to two, two gives birth to three, three gives birth to all things. Li Tianyi was bored and taught the Tao Te Ching to the children in the yard. This was created by Laozi, one of the saints. Perhaps in the previous life, this was just an ordinary Tao Te Ching. But it's different in the world of cultivating immortals. People with good enough understanding may be able to understand something from it. Of course Li Tianyi doesn't have this ability, but his children are all very talented, so maybe they can. Of course, not all children are interested in the Tao Te Ching taught by Li Tianyi. Some children are playing with other things. Li Tianyi knows that children cannot stay with her forever, and they will always have their own lives. In order for them to recognize each other as brothers and sisters, he specially asked the Fengyan Sect's weapon refiner to create a space ring engraved with Li for himself. All people wearing this ring mean that they have the same father. Brothers and sisters must support each other and make progress together. Only then can you grow your family. What my father said was so profound that I couldn't understand it at all. Li Shu leaned into his brother Li Feng's ear and whispered, "Of course, this is my father, and we have a lot to learn from him." Li Feng sat cross-legged on the ground, closed his eyes and listened carefully to the Tao Te Ching spoken by his father. Seeing his brother Li Feng comprehending, Li Shu gave up. "I am still not suitable for enlightenment, so I might as well find other brothers and sisters to play with the newly created puppets. Obviously they are all born to me. One is a hard-working practitioner, and the other is so playful." Shen Wanbai looked at the gap between the two brothers and couldn't help but speak. Everyone has a different personality. Wouldn't it be boring if they were all the same? I really envy my sister for being able to give birth to a child like Li Feng. You are smart and resourceful, and you practice hard. Given time, you will definitely be able to become a god in the future. Wang Shuangyao stood beside him and said, "Her children are all too young, even the eldest Li Yanmiao is only 4 years old. He is still at a relatively playful age." Li Tianyi arranged for all his wives to live in his backyard. The children all live in the yard halfway up the mountain. Every time they wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is run to the mountains and play in this small yard. "Okay, I've finished all the lessons for today. If you want to play, go ahead and play," Li Tianyi said helplessly, except for his eldest children Li Xing and Li Feng. The other children's thoughts were not there at all. Hearing what his father said, everyone stood up one after another, practicing what should be practiced, and playing what should be played. It's a pity that most of his children are too young. There are very few people who can give back to Li Tianyi. Now Li Tianyi himself is stuck on the 8th floor of the foundation building, motionless. If you want to enter the golden elixir, it seems that it will take a long time, at least until the children grow up. "Tianyi, Zhongshan is here again. He is accompanied by 2 women. He needs you to go to the sect hall." Just after finishing the lecture, Li Tianyi received a message from Meng Jingwei. "Zhongshan is here. What do you need to do in the sect hall?" Li Tianyi said doubtfully. "Oh, the 2 women Zhongshan brought, one is his daughter, Princess Zhang Fengling, and the other has a very special identity. She is a disciple of the Gai sect from the Dingyang dynasty. I have observed her realm, but I can't see through it." Qingxi also said that she can't see through it. She can't see through the 5th level of nascent soul, which means that the other person's realm is very high. Meng Jingwei Wang Zhao told Li Tianyi what she learned. Dingyang dynasty. Return to the same clan. Li Tianyi must not have known it before. Now he does know something about both. The place where they live is Yangzhongguo, which is just a very remote area in Dongzhou. And in the distance of Yangzhongguo, there is another behemoth, Dingyang dynasty. The strength of the Dingyang dynasty, to put it bluntly, is that it only takes a single thought to destroy the Yangzhongguo. The divine transformation stage of the Dingyang dynasty is no longer a legend, and there is even a void refining stage. The Gai sect within the dynasty was one of the 3 major forces. Why would Zhongshan bring a disciple from the Gai sect to his side? It's not like he wants to receive help from the Gai sect to deal with himself. It shouldn't be the case. Zhongshan's daughter Zhang Huayu is married to him, and the 2 are barely a family. Meng Jingwei asked worriedly, "Will something happen?" "No, Zhongshan won't do this, let's go. Li Tianyi shook his head. He is not afraid, he has a child flying outside. When in danger, teleport immediately, and then teleport back and forth to pick up the children and wife one by one. Zongmin Main Hall. Senior, we are finally here. When Zhongshan saw Li Tianyi walking in from outside the hall, he immediately stood up and came to Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi also noticed the two women behind Zhongshan. Well, why did you bring them to me? Li Tianyi learned about Chong Rumiao's background from Meng Jingwei. It's very clear in my heart. It is impossible for Chong Rumiao, who comes from the Gai sect, to choose to marry herself. Unless Zhongshan told the other party about his special physique, which made the other party feel a little excited. Of course, this can be ruled out. Because Li Tianyi was previously worried that other sects would learn about his ancient kidney body, he specifically asked the sect leaders not to spread the news. So Zhongshan, who understands this, will naturally understand this truth. The power of nascent souls Zochin can move sideways across the territory of Yangzhongguo. It's not necessarily the case outside Yangzhongguo. You are my sister's husband. You are quite talented. Zhongshan hasn't spoken yet. Zhang Fengling jumped forward and walked forward. A pair of smart eyes looked at Li Tianyi carefully. Chong Rumiao, who was standing next to her, frowned slightly. I wonder why I can't see through the cultivation level of the man in front of me. She is at the 8th level of nascent soul. A state that is enough to walk sideways in Yangzong's country, but he can't see through Li Tianyi. Could it be that Li Tianyi's realm is higher than his own? When did such a person appear in the small Yangzong country? So, you are Yu's sister, Zhong Ling. Li Tianyi chuckled. It's me. When I left Yangzhongguo, my sister was still suffering from brain disease. I heard that my sister was cured of the brain disease. I was originally going to come here, but unfortunately I heard that my sister's lifespan is only 10 years at most, so I wanted to use the power of Gai sect. Let's see if we can cure my sister's illness or extend her life by a few years. Zhang Fengling sighed. Why does my sister have such a miserable fate? First the brain disease, then the physical condition. So have you found it? Li Tianyi is also concerned about Zhang Yu's body. Although he has a lot of lifespan, he cannot share it with Zhang Ya. It's really a pity. Otherwise, just relying on his own lifespan would be enough for Zhang Yu to live for tens of thousands of years. There is no need to worry about Zhang Yu's situation at all. I found the reason, it's because of your sister's special physique, the wind spirit body, right? How do you know? Zhang Fengling covered her mouth in surprise and looked at Li Tianyi in front of her. She spent a lot of thought before she finally found the reason. Unexpectedly, Li Tianyi in front of me also knew. Senior, I don't know which force you are from. Can you tell me in writing? When Zhang Fengling was surprised, Chong Rumiao took the initiative to talk. She didn't think Li Tianyi was pretending to be a person. Looking at Zhongshan's respectful look is enough to show that Li Tianyi's level is definitely not low. Otherwise, as the emperor of Yangzhongguo, Zhongshan would have no need to treat Li Tianyi so humbly, not to mention that he himself is also a nascent soul monk. Senior sister, what are you and him doing for senior? Zhang Fengling was not aware of Li Tianyi's specialness. Just think that my sister has found a mortal she likes to get married with in the remaining time. Other than that, she didn't think about much else. I can't see through his realm. Chong Rumiao sent a message to Zhang Fengling. Can't you see through it? This time Zhang Fengling was even more surprised. Actually, even the senior sister on the 8th level of nascent soul couldn't see through it. Doesn't it mean that at least they are all in nascent soul Zochin? You can definitely see it at the 9th level of nascent soul. My name is Li Tianyi, I am just an ordinary person from Yangzhongguo. If you don't believe me, you can ask His Majesty Zhongshan. Where does Li Tianyi come from other forces? If you say it casually, the other party will know the truth and falsehood if they go back and check it. Might as well tell the truth. Ordinary people from Yangzhongguo. Seniors are just joking, but I'm really saying that I don't care about your state. Chong Rumiao said truthfully. She didn't think Li Tianyi was from Yangzhongguo. Those of them who are members of the sect know the strength of Yangzong's country best. Ahem, Fairy Chong, Senior Li is a monk at the nascent soul Zochin realm. It's normal for you not to be able to see through Senior Li. I learned that Chong Rumiao couldn't even see through Li Tianyi's state. Zhang Shan became more certain of his thoughts. Li Tianyi is indeed a very secretive guy. He couldn't see clearly even at the 8th level of nascent soul. He suspected that Li Tianyi's true strength was definitely in the divine transformation stage. He reached the stage of transformation into a god when he was less than 50 years old. What kind of monster is this? Nascent soul Zochan. Zhang Fengling exclaimed. Is the brother-in-law that my sister found for her so strong? No wonder my sister fell in love with him. If it were him, she would be interested in Li Tiantian. It turns out to be the nascent soul Zochan realm. Often soft and thoughtful. No wonder I can't even see through the other person. The nascent soul Zochan power that Li Tianyi can unleash refers to the strongest power that can be unleashed in the nascent soul stage. It's not just as simple as the power of ordinary nascent soul stage. This is why Li Tianyi was able to easily kill the 2 demon sect masters in front of him. After a brief exchange with Chong Rumiao, Li Tianyi went back to Feiyan Peak. In such a short period of time, a woman he had never met became interested in him. He doesn't have such a strong charm. After learning from Zhang Shan's message that Chong Rumiao had a super-grade wood spiritual root, Li Tianyi became very interested in Chong Rumiao. So far, the women he has come into contact with have the highest spiritual roots. If you combine with a woman with super spiritual roots, doesn't it mean that you can give birth to a child with perfect spiritual roots? Fengling, what do you think of Senior Li? Zhang Shan asked. Zhang Fengling replied. Senior Li is very good. He was able to reach the realm of nascent soul Zochan at such a short age. He is simply better than the senior brothers and sisters of Feng Weizong. Although the Gai sect was one of the 3 major forces of the Dingyang dynasty. But this does not mean that the disciples in their sect can reach nascent soul (CHCG) perfection before the age of 50. Even the senior sister beside her, Chong Rumiao, could not achieve nascent soul before the age of 50 by relying on her super-grade wood spiritual roots. Then I'll tell you the truth, Fengling. In fact, the marriage I arranged for you is with Senior Li. Seeing that her daughter is not disgusted with Li Tianyi, there is appreciation and admiration in her eyes. Zhang Shan knew the opportunity had come. It's time to talk to Zhang Fengling about marriage. Father, the marriage you found for me is for me to get married to Senior Li. Don't be joking. Let's not mention that Senior Li is my sister's man. Let's talk about Senior Li's talent and strength. Can he like me? Zhang Fengling, who felt that she had a high-grade spiritual root in the wind system, was enough to achieve success. Many of the brothers and sisters in Gai sect who expressed their love to her were rejected by her. Her criteria for picking men are a little difficult for others. The first is that she looks pleasing to the eye, and she is a beauty control. Second, you have to be stronger than her, otherwise how can you protect yourself better? Third, the talent must be better than hers. She doesn't want to find an old monster to marry. Obviously, Zhang Fengling's conditions were met by Li Tianyi. But it was when he had achieved this that Zhang Fengling began to doubt whether he could be attracted by Li Tianyi. Junior sister, there is no need to belittle yourself. If you like Li Tianyi, take the initiative to explain your feelings. Chong Rumiao cheered Zhang Fengling. Although Li Tianyi made her feel amazing, she was far from liking him. But the junior sister is indeed quite young. It's hard to find a suitable Taoist companion, so you have to seize the opportunity. Otherwise it will be difficult in the future. Just like herself. As her realm became higher and higher, her vision for finding Taoist companions also became higher. To this day, the vitality is still intact. There isn't even a suitable person. Cultivation is destined to be lonely. It is very important to find a Taoist companion who will be by your side. When monks look for mortals, they cannot forget the world of mortals, which will only increase their troubles. When monks look for monks, they support each other and make progress together. Fengling, don't worry about this, as long as you ask, I will let Senior Li marry you right away. Zhang Shan said excitedly. Senior Li doesn't care whether he likes it or not, as long as the woman's spiritual roots are high. Father, look at how excited you are, as if your senior will listen to you if you just say something. Zhang Fengling said angrily. Zhang Shan patted his chest. I dare not say anything else, but on this matter, senior will definitely listen to me. As for the reason, you don't need to know for the time being. After all, his daughter Zhang Fengling is a disciple of Gai Sect. He was afraid that after telling Zhang Fengling the truth about the ancient kidney body, Zhang Fengling would tell her senior sister Chong Rumiao. When the time comes, Guiyi Sect will definitely know something about the senior's special physique. The senior's strength is very strong, but it is definitely not enough to fight against the Gai Sect. Therefore, the news about the senior's physique must not be exposed to Fengling. Since my father is so confident, then, please, my father, please talk to my senior. Make an agreement first. If my senior refuses, I will not come back to Yangzhongguo. Zhang Fengling was afraid of being embarrassed. If she is rejected by Li Tianyi, she may never have any face again and come to Yongbao Kingdom. Unless Li Tianyi leaves Yangzhongguo. Don't worry, I understand what you mean. Zhang Shan looked overjoyed. Let her daughter stay in the main hall for a while, and fly to Feiyan Peak non-stop. Tell Li Tianyi the good news. Fei Yunfeng, Senior, my idea now is not to tell Fengling about your ancient kidney body, lest the Gai Sect behind her know about it. Zhang Shan told Li Tianyi his plan. Li Tianyi thinks it makes sense. He didn't want to be treated like a breeding tool by the wind and cloud layer again, as he had been before. Your own freedom must still be in your own hands. The marriage between Zhang Fengling and me will be left to you, Zhang Shan. Normally, Li Tianyi would have been too lazy to arrange the wedding. But Chong Rumiao was present after all. Royal weddings are not held anywhere. What's more, the princess is getting married. No problem, Senior, I'll take care of it all. After Zhang Shan finished speaking, he ran towards the sect hall again. I want to tell Zhang Fengling this good news. Zongmin Main Hall. Thunder-type super-grade spiritual roots. Sect leader Ji, are you really sure you don't want to leave your child to our Gai Sect for instruction? Chong Rumiao has nothing to do. Then he noticed the child in Ji Qingxi's arms. She thought the child looked very cute and wanted to hold it and look at it. Seeing that Chong Rumiao didn't have any ill intentions, Ji Qingxi handed Li Liling over to him. When Chong Rumiao took Li Liling's arms, she subconsciously tested the child's spiritual roots. Then it was shockingly discovered that Li Liling actually had a super-grade lightning root. He immediately wanted to help the sect. The super-grade spiritual roots plus the thunder-type spiritual roots are enough to make this child stand out among the younger generation of the Gai Sect. It was just rejected by Ji Qingxi. She didn't want her children to be separated from her. Besides, even if she agreed, her husband Li Tianyi did not agree. I'm sure Fairy Chong can understand that Ling has just been born not long ago, and I don't want her to be separated from her mother so soon. Ji Qingxi politely rejected Chong Rumiao. Although she knew very well that once her daughter entered Gai Sect, she would definitely enjoy the highest standard of treatment. But she didn't want her immature children to be separated from their mother and father so quickly. This is such a pity, but if you change your mind, Sect Master Ji, please be sure to contact me. I can assure you that Gai Sect is definitely the most suitable sect for children. Chong Rumiao's face showed regret. But Guiyi Sect is not that domineering sect. His mother had refused, so there was no way he would try to rob her. Geniuses with super-grade lightning spiritual roots are indeed rare, but they are not enough for the Guiyi Sect to grab. Genius comes every year. There are very few geniuses who can grow up. Thank you Fairy Chong for your kindness. If Ling wants to join the sect in the future, I will be the first to consider joining the first level. Ji Qingxi smiled softly. Just when Chong Rumiao looked at Ji Qingxi's child with pity. Good news. Fengling, Senior has agreed, and we can get married on a chosen date. Really? Wait a minute, father, choose a day to get married. Is it so soon? Zhang Fengling was overjoyed at first, she seemed quite attractive. The senior did not reject himself. But Zhang Fengling was confused by the last sentence about choosing a day to get married. Getting married is fine. Why such a rush? Ahem, this is for your consideration, Ling. Zhang Shan had already thought of the reason. After all, you came here with Fairy Chong. If you stay here for a long time, you will inevitably be blamed by your master. I discussed it with Senior. Senior is very considerate and decided to choose a date to get married. But, it's a little too fast. Zhang Fengling lowered her head shyly. Really not prepared at all. She also wanted to get along with Li Tianyi for a while and have a good relationship after confirming her marriage. If you feel that the other party is not good enough, you can still break the contract. He wouldn't explain himself so easily. I think what your father said is very reasonable, Fengling. Master said that we should go back quickly. We don't have much time to stay in Yangzhongguo. If you like it, just marry the senior. I can just have a glass of your wedding wine. Chong Rumiao thought about it carefully and felt that what Zhang Shan said was very reasonable. They really don't have much time. The master is still waiting for them to return. Can't stay too long. The master was originally rather annoyed by his junior sister returning to Yangzhongguo. Because Zhang Fengling told her master the reasons why she left Yangzhongguo. Therefore, their master did not have a good impression of Yangzhongguo. If Yangzhongguo hadn't been Zhang Fengling's country and it was Zhang Fengling's father who ruled the country, their master would have wished that Yangzhongguo would be destroyed soon. Okay, I heard my father and senior sister say this. Zhang Fengling's own heart was also moved. Get married early, get married early. If she doesn't get along well with Senior Li in the future, she will hide in Gai Sect and never come out again. The next day, the originally magnificent palace was decorated with lanterns and colorful lights, and the sky was filled with red light. On the eaves of every palace, there are big red lanterns with the words, Da Shi, on them. The marriage of Zhang Huayu and Li Tianyi was not widely publicized before. Zhang Fengling and Li Tianyi's wedding today, Zhang Shan widely invited and promoted it. Let the entire Yangzhong kingdom know that their princess is getting married today. Today is the day when my daughter Fengling is very happy. I would like to toast everyone. Zhang Shan was the happiest. In addition to Zhang Huayu, there is another daughter who will add a genius with the best spiritual roots to the royal family. Congratulations, Your Majesty, Liu Bai said with jealous eyes. His progress was too slow. Since sending the two girls to Li Tianyi, he has been unable to find any suitable targets. Lei Heng drank wine depressedly. Luya sect is considered good. Look at his own extreme thunder sword sect. Apart from Wang Langlang, I couldn't find any other suitable woman. No, I must drink more wine today and go back to Lei's house to be brave. Be sure to explain the situation clearly to your sister and aunt. His sister is easier to deal with. He can use his status as an elder brother to intimidate and induce her. My aunt is in a bit of trouble. The aunt who possesses high-grade spiritual roots is stronger than him in terms of strength and seniority. It's a bit difficult to start. Another table. I didn't expect. Li Tianyi has so many wives. Chong Rumiao and Li Tianyi's women sat at the same table, looking at the beautiful women in front of him. If Zhang Shan hadn't said that they were all Li Tianyi's wives, she would have thought that these women were all talented female disciples of various sects. Is Li Tianyi so charming? Able to attract the love of so many fairies? There are indeed many wives of seniors, but please don't get me wrong, Fairy Chong. I am not the wife of seniors. I just don't want to sit at the same table with that group of people. Du Mingxie, who heard Chong Rumiao's words, reminded him. To this day, Xuanian sect is the only sect that has not provided Li Tianyi with female disciples. Seeing other sects getting stronger day by day, Du Mingxie gradually became anxious. She felt uncomfortable being surpassed by other sects and widening the gap. Is it really what the great elder said? With complicated eyes, he looked at Ji Yuqingxi, who was holding the child happily in front of her. Ever since one of her best friends gave birth to a child. The focus is not on practice. Under such circumstances, Ji Yuqingxi's breakthrough speed was faster than before. According to what Qingxi said, the stone blocking the bottleneck in her heart finally fell. With cultivation, you can break through unimpeded. May I have your name? Chong Rumiao asked. I am the master of Xuanian sect, Du Mingxie. Du Mingxie replied. Du Mingxie, it's a very nice name. Thank you for the compliment. Time flies. There is no such thing as a feast that never ends. Soon the moon was high in the sky. The invited guests began to leave one after another. Marriage room. This was originally Zhang Fengling's own room. Ever since Mei Fengling went to Guiyi sect, Zhang Shan has been left vacant. Now it finally comes in handy. The delicate beauty Zhang Fengling was sitting on the bed, rubbing her little hands nervously, waiting for the arrival of her new husband. Wind spirit. Li Tianyi lifted Zhang Fengling's red hijab. The night breeze blew in through the outside windows, extinguished the candles in the room. But even without the candlelight, to the two monks Li Tianyi and Zhang Fengling, the night was like day. Host: Li Tianyi. Age: 49. Cultivation: 8th level of foundation building. Qualification: 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining life: 2,575,011. It is detected that the host is giving birth to an heir, and the partner's spiritual root is a high-grade wind spiritual root. After spending 10 years of life, the spiritual root of the offspring will be a middle-grade wind spiritual root. After spending 100,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant is upgraded to the top-grade spiritual root of the wind system. After spending 15 years of life, the descendant's spiritual root was upgraded to the top-grade spiritual root of the wind system, and he inherited Zhang Fengzhang's violent wind body. After spending 200,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant was upgraded to the top spiritual root of the wind system, and the physique was upgraded to the body of a hurricane. Another special physique, Li Tianyi said unexpectedly. Our sisters Zhang Huayu and Zhang Fengling so awesome. Even if they have powerful wind spirit roots, they all also have special physiques. It's just that Zhang Fengling's physique is better than Zhang Huayu, at least not the kind of special physique that consumes lifespan. Her violent wind body is a physical constitution that truly assists her practice. Consumes 200,000 years of life. Morning, Li Tianyi tests his system. There are still only the last 45,000 years left before the cumulative consumption of 1 million lifespans. That is, a matter of having several children. If you want to give birth, then go to Zhang Yu. It happened that the child in Zhang Huayu's belly had already been given birth. At this time, there was a rustling movement on the bed. You're awake. Zhang Fengling shyly hid under the quilt, only exposing her eyes. She didn't expect that it would be so late if she succeeded. What surprised her the most was that her level had improved. It has reached the perfection of foundation building and is only one step away from the golden elixir stage. Seeing the shy Zhang Fengling, Li Tianyi stepped forward and said, "It's time to get up, your teacher should be waiting outside." Outside, Chong Rumiao was hosted by Zhang Shan and stayed one night in the room of a concubine in the palace. However, she did not practice. She just sat cross-legged on the bed and used practice instead of sleeping. Monks after the golden elixir stage do not need to sleep to restore their energy. Relying on the spiritual energy absorbed during practice is enough to nourish your spirit and body. Counting the time, they should be awake by now, right? Chong Rumiao opened her contact lenses and glanced at the sunlight streaming in outside the window. It's time to check it out. As soon as Chong Rumiao got up and opened the door, she saw Li Tianyi and Zhang Fengling walking over. Sister. Zhang Fengling originally wanted to trot up to Chong Rumiao. But suddenly I felt a pain in my abdomen, which was related to the wound from last night, and I almost fell to the ground. Fortunately, he was supported by Li Tianyi next to him. Be careful, you spent the night fighting with monsters last night. I know. Zhang Fengling's face turned red with embarrassment. Chapter 71. Congratulations, junior sister, you have successfully been promoted to the great perfection of foundation establishment. As soon as Chong Rumiao stepped forward, she felt a change in Zhang Fengling's aura. Could it be said that getting married can make one's cultivation level higher? Ask master when you get back. I've been stuck at the 9th level of foundation building for a long time. Yesterday, I was completely free and successfully broke through the bottleneck. Now I'm entering the golden elixir stage. We have to find the right time to break through. To achieve the golden elixir, you need to find a quiet place. It's best to have someone around to protect the road. Zhang Fengling was very careful about this. After all, if he was disturbed and the attack failed, he would probably have to stop here for the rest of his life. This was a scene she didn't want to see as a top-grade spiritual route. Let's leave the matter of breaking through the golden elixir stage to the sect. I just don't know how long you plan to stay with your husband, junior sister. Chong Rumiao looked at Li Tianyi. Whether Zhang Fengling can leave or not, the most important thing is not Fengling, but Li Tianyi is her husband. If Fengling wants to return to the sect this morning, then set off today. Anyway, one night is enough to make Mei Fengling 100% safe from her own child. Li Tianyi doesn't mind when Zhang Fengling returns to the clan. Okay, husband, you have said so, then I will return to the sect with my senior sister today. When I break through the golden elixir stage, I will come back to see you. Zhang Fengling was still a little confused. After hearing Li Tianyi's words, the entanglement in my heart suddenly disappeared. He opened his arms and hugged Li Tianyi's waist, lying on Li Tianyi's body, making his own agreement. Just come back during the golden elixir period. Then I look forward to your breakthrough to the golden core stage. Li Tianyi gently stroked Zhang Fengling's back. Chong Rumiao has mixed feelings in her heart. Why do you feel a little sad? Having said that, have you all forgotten that there is a single monk standing in front of you? The young couple finally spent some time together. Zhang Fengling began to say goodbye to Li Tianyi. It's a pity that I came and went in such a hurry that I didn't have time to communicate with my sister who was cured of her brain disease. Zhang Fengling said regretfully. She did not meet Zhang Huayu this time. When Zhang Huayu attended the wedding, she stayed in the room. I didn't even get a chance to see my sister. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future, so don't rush now. Li Tianyi comforted. Well, my husband is right, then my senior sister and I will leave for now. Chong Rumiao had already summoned the ferry boat of Gai Sect. I have to say that the ferry boat that returns to the first level is full of atmosphere. The ferry boat the two of them were riding on was much larger than the ferry boats in Yangzong. The whole body is mainly black and white, with mysterious lines carved all over the body. There is a big word, Gui, in the middle. It means that this is an immortal boat from Gai Sect. Goodbye, goodbye, husband, wait for me. Zhang Fengling and Chong Rumiao arrived on the ferry boat. She waved her arms and said goodbye to Li Tianyi below. Seeing this, Chong Rumiao sighed helplessly. After only 2 days together, junior sister and Ji Kongkong have such a deep relationship. Someone as infatuated as junior sister. If I am let down in the future, I am afraid that my Taoist heart will be destroyed. Once the Taoist mind is gone, it will be impossible to make further progress in cultivation from now on. I hope Li Tianyi will not let down his junior sister. Boom, the ferry boat floats, causing the space to vibrate and spiritual energy to overflow. At lightning speed, it turned into a long black and white stream of light and disappeared in front of Li Tianyi. Fengyan Sect, return to the sect. Tianyi, Li Wenbo, the leader of the erosion sect, is here. Meng Jingwei said. Li Wenbo, the flesh erosion sect. Why did he come to me? Didn't I tell you before not to show up in front of me again? Li Wenbo took the initiative to look for him. Li Tianyi expressed that he was surprised. I thought that the other party was so frightened by me that time that I didn't dare to show up from now on. Didn't you expect that you would have the courage to meet yourself so soon? Tianyi, what are you going to do? Are you going to kill him? Meng Jingwei asked. If she wanted to kill Li Wenbo, she could go to GUC to help. No need, just let him in. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, nothing will happen. Just this guy Li Wenbo. Not enough to pose a threat to Li Tianyi. The worst case scenario would be to waste 100,000 years of life and give him a ride. Okay, but you have to be careful, people from the demon sect are quite good at cheating. Meng Jingwei reminded Li Tianyi with concern. He turned around and left. After a while, a familiar smell came from outside. The breath of magic. Li Wenbo's arrival attracted the attention of Li Tianyi's wives in the yard. They came to Li Tianyi one after another, but were waved away by Li Tianyi. Senior, Li Wenbo came to Li Tianyi with his head bent and his head bent throughout. Behind him, stood a woman in a long black veil. She has a devilishly curvy figure. Red eye shadow outlines the corners of her eyes, making her eyes seem to have the ability to seduce people. There is a faint smile on the slightly thick red lips. A charming and decent temperament emerges from her body. Even Li Tianyi's eyes lit up when he looked at her. This woman is not simple. Li Tianyi can barely count as having countless women now. But I have never seen a woman so attractive to me. Immediately, Li Tianyi thought of something he had seen in the ancient books before, Fenggu. Some women are naturally charming, very attractive to men. Every woman with a charming personality has a beauty that will captivate a country. Senior, I have heard about the ancient kidney body. The people who have offended you before have always been Ji Yu Lincheng and the others. I have never said a bad word about you, Senior. I wonder if you can get me, the demon sect, to join your plan. Oh, by the way, this woman is the saint of our flesh-eating sect. Her name is Meng Ziyao. Li Wenbo nervously explained his purpose to Li Tianyi. He introduced the identity of Meng Yaoji next to him. Hello, Senior, I am Meng Ziyao. Meng Ziyao's voice was very sweet. When you hear it, it feels like the sweetness is going to your bones, making your whole body feel numb. You are charming, right? Li Tianyi expressed his guess. Senior is still well informed. Ji Yao, I am indeed naturally charming. Meng Ziyao replied respectfully. Before coming to Fengyan sect, sect leader Li Wenbo had made preparations for her. Told Li Tianyi basic information. He also explained the significance of taking her there. Ever since Meng Ziyao was born, the flesh erosion sect discovered that she had a naturally beautiful body, so they took her to the sect and worshipped her as a saint. Practice the strongest skills of the flesh erosion sect and enjoy the best resources of the flesh erosion sect. Although in the eyes of outsiders, she is a saint with high spirits and a happy life. But she knew very well that she was just a tool cultivated by the flesh eclipse sect. Now is the time to use her tool. The flesh-eating sect assured her that as long as she could please Senior Li Tianyi, her family would receive protection and help from the flesh-eating sect. Meng Ziyao hopes to play her last role. Just think of it as doing some favors to the family. Senior, please rest assured that since Meng Ziyao was regarded as a saint by our flesh-eating sect, she is still the leader of Yuanyan from birth to now. Li Wenbo was afraid that Li Tianyi would dislike Meng Ziyao, so he hurriedly explained Meng Ziyao's situation. Because every woman with a naturally beautiful body will have countless men in her life. After all, your charm is too great and your strength is not enough, so you can only become a man's vassal. So he had to explain clearly to his seniors that Meng Ziyao was still clean. At first, she was regarded as being given to the holy son of the heavenly demon sect. Now Li Wenbo changed his attention. Instead of relying on the uncertain holy son in the future, it is better to make a deal with the seniors. You want to join in, right? Li Tianyi asked. Yes, Senior, our flesh erosion sect has maintained the status quo for too long, and I want to seize this opportunity. Li Wenbo made no secret of his ambition. He knew that only by explaining his true thoughts could he hope to get his seniors to agree with him. No problem, Li Wenbo, I admire you very much, but there is another one named Wei Kei who I don't like very much. He is too timid. It's hard for a person like him to become a great person. You can leave first and Meng Ziyao stays. There was no reason for Li Tiantian to refuse the woman who came to his door. Thank you, Senior, for giving me this opportunity. From now on, the flesh-eating sect will only follow the lead of Senior. Li Wenbo crawled on the ground in excitement. Show your determination. Very good. The flesh eclipse sect seized this opportunity. On the other hand, Wei Kei, you will regret it one day. As soon as Li Wenbo left, Meng Ziyao seemed to be missing a backbone, standing there at a loss. Just like Li Wenbo said, she is still a young girl. Have you ever seen such a scene before? What spiritual roots do you have? Li Tianyi asked. I am a high-grade dark element spiritual root. Meng Ziyao explained nervously. The initial calmness was completely gone. What Li Wenbo said to her came to mind one by one. How to deal with seniors. But the problem is that none of them seems to be able to cope with the current scene. Dark type high-grade spiritual roots. Li Tianyi raised his eyebrows. Dark spiritual roots. This spiritual root is the same as the spiritual roots of thunder, wind, and ice. Mutated spiritual roots. People with dark spiritual roots are basically disciples of the demon sect. Although not accurate, the base is mostly like this. People with dark spiritual roots are less likely to become possessed than other people when practicing demonic skills. And when entering the nascent soul stage, there are very few thunder punishments, and it will be easier for nascent soul to cultivate demons than ordinary people. It can be said that he is a born demonic monk. Of course, if you have dark spiritual roots, there is no problem in practicing the right way. No impact at all. The spiritual root only has a supporting role. The most important thing is the holder of the spiritual root and his choice. You should also have a special physique. Yes, Senior, my special physique is the yin body. The body of the house. Li Tianyi quickly searched his memory. Found a description of the body of Jai-yin. Legend has it that for people who are in harmony with the body of Jai-yin, the higher the level of the monk who has the body of Jai-yin, the higher the benefits that the person who is in joy will reap. However, the body of Jai-yin is very rare. Unexpectedly, in the small Yangzong kingdom, there would be a woman with a yin body. It just so happens that I still have 45,000 lifespan before I can upgrade my system. Meng Xiao came just in time. I want you to help me practice. Li Tianyi slowly stood up. Meng Xiao said with a shy face, I came to see Senior because of this matter. I know that Li Wenbo promised you some benefits to make you so obedient, and I'm here to tell you. As long as you become my woman, you no longer have to listen to anyone's orders. You only need to listen to me. Do you understand? Li Tianyi walked to Meng Xiao's side. A fragrant breeze fills the tip of the nose. It's like a sweet nectar that makes people want to open their mouths and taste it. It is worthy of being a yin body, as beautiful as the colorful flowers that attract bees and butterflies. I understand, Senior, from now on Meng Xiao is your woman. I will no longer listen to anyone else's words except yours. Meng Xiao's beautiful eyes flashed with joy. With Senior's words here, doesn't it mean that I no longer need to be ordered around by Li Wenbo? What she fears most is that after spending the night with Li Tianyi, Li Wenbo will use him as a bargaining chip for other men. Fortunately, this Senior is very good. According to what the Senior said, he wanted to treat himself as private property. This actually made Meng Xiao very happy. Night. Li Tianyi and Meng Xiao were in the room and took off the grass-proof cloth covering the potted plants, revealing the true colors of the potted plants. I saw a slight crack at the root of the potted plant, and it was slightly arched. It looks very different compared to other potted plants. This made Li Tianyi, a skilled gardener, gain some knowledge again. I have heard of the name of the top 10 bonsais, but so far I have only seen one bare bonsai. I saw another one today. Look at the lush leaves on the potted plants. Have you ever cleaned up a bonsai yourself? Li Tianyi asked curiously. Meng Xiao seemed very shy in front of this experienced gardener. It's like an apprentice practicing in front of a master. I don't have it. It's just the way the potted plants grow. I usually, mostly water them myself. Meng Xiao doesn't like making bonsai very much. I usually just rinse it with water when it feels too dry. I just used my hands to drive away the bugs on it to prevent the bonsai from itching to death. Each bonsai is slightly different, but basically they are all the same. Only your bonsai is very special. It should be ranked among the top 10 bonsais. Li Tianyi expressed his guess. Maybe she was afraid that Meng Xiao would think she was being deceived. Li Tianyi deliberately took out the bonsai book from the space ring. It specifically records various strange bonsai creations in the world. With the help of candlelight, Xiao herself looked curiously at the fragrance. After a while, how is it? I didn't lie to you. Li Tianyi chuckled. Senior will certainly not lie to me. Meng Xiao blushed with embarrassment. Today I have learned a new knowledge point. I told you I wouldn't lie to you. Looking at this rare bonsai, Li Tianyi couldn't help but reach out and touch it. Maybe it was the night wind blowing in from outside, which caused the whole bonsai to tremble slightly. Meng Xiao, who was holding the bonsai in both hands, felt the tremor. Stuttered, Senior, hurry up, I can't hold on any longer. The bonsai was already very heavy, and now it was still shaking. Even Meng Xiao, a monk, was a little tired and his arms were shaking. If he continued like this, he would collapse on the ground with the bonsai. I see. Li Tianyi reluctantly took her hand away from the bonsai. Then it's time to get down to business. 3 o'clock in the night. Host, Li Tianyi. Age, 49. Cultivation, 8th level of foundation building. Qualification, 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining life, 2,375,011. It is detected that the host is giving birth to an heir, and the partner's spiritual root is a high-grade dark spiritual root. After 10 years of lifespan, the offspring's spiritual root becomes a middle-grade dark element spiritual root. After spending 100,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant is upgraded to the top-grade spiritual root of the dark system. After spending 15 years of life, the descendant's spiritual root was upgraded to the top-grade dark spiritual root, and he inherited Meng Xiao's yin body. After spending 300,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant was upgraded to the top spiritual root of the dark system, and the physique was upgraded to the 9 yin and 9 nether holy body. Eucharist. This was beyond Li Tianyi's expectation. Although he had already prepared for having a special physique, he never expected that his child would be able to give birth to a holy body. The holy body is obviously much stronger than other bodies. Otherwise, there would be no need to spend an extra 100,000 years of life to strengthen 9 yin and 9 nether holy body. Even though the child was not born yet, Li Tianyi knew that the child would be a girl. Otherwise, boys would not be able to have this kind of physique. Just like the 9 sons and 9 sons holy body, this is a boy's exclusive physique. You are so great, Meng Ziyao. Li Tianyi couldn't help but kiss Meng Ziyao's white and tender forehead. Ding! It has been detected that the cumulative lifespan has reached 1 million years. The system begins to upgrade. Ding! Upgrade completed. Enable new system features and upgrades. 1. Upgrade the cultivation back-feeding function, which is 10 times higher than the original heirs cultivation back-feeding. 2. Enable the new function of strengthening partners and children, and consume a certain amount of life to enhance the spiritual root levels of partners and children. Note: the current system level strengthens the spiritual root of the partner, and the talent of giving birth to a child is still based on the original spiritual root. At present, it can be upgraded to a high-grade spiritual root. 3. Upgrade the function of consuming life to gain power, increase the lifespan by consuming 1 million years, and gain the power of the great perfection of divine transformation. 4. Turn on the function of doubling the adventures of the offspring, and consume a certain amount of life, so that the adventures obtained by the offspring can be returned 10 times. 100 times. Give it to yourself. 5. Enable the new function of checking the fortune of the heir, consume some lifespan, and find out in advance the major events that the heir will encounter in the next few days. Qingqing is saved. Li Tianyi first skipped all other functions. He only pays close attention to one function, which is the function of strengthening the spiritual root of his partner. As long as Li Qingqing's spiritual roots are improved, do we still have to worry that Li Qingqing will die of old age? The next day, Li Tianyi happily ran to Li Qingqing. Qingqing. Li Tianyi shouted happily. Li Lang, look at how happy you are. Are you going to marry a fairy from another family? Li Qingqing joked. As Li Tianyi's first wife, her relationship with Li Tianyi is naturally very good. Other women may have factors that keep them in love for a long time. But Li Qingqing definitely doesn't. She has the purest love for Li Tianyi. No, it's even bigger good news than this. I have a way to make your wishes come true. Li Tianyi smiled. Li Qingqing rolled her eyes at Li Tianyi. I know how you feel about me, Li Lang. It's okay. In fact, this is good. After all, aren't there many fairies accompanying you? The only pity is that she can't accompany Li Tianyi until he grows old. She only has mortal spiritual roots, and relying on the lifespan given by the red spirit fruit, she can only stay with Li Tianyi for 300 more years at most. 300 years later, it was the same white bones. If I say yes, I will, just give me your hand. Seeing that Li Lang had no intention of joking, Li Qingqing put her hand on Li Tianyi's palm without any hesitation. Since it was not a joke, she believed that what Li Lang said was absolutely true. The system consumes lifespan to improve the quality of Ji Qingqing's spiritual roots. Li Tianyi thought silently in his heart. Ding! It has been detected that my friend Li Qingqing has a waste spiritual root of water and fire. After spending 100 years of life, the spiritual root is upgraded to a low grade 1. Consume 1,000 years, and the spiritual root will be upgraded to mid-grade. After spending 10,000 years, Min General was upgraded to a good product. After spending 100,000 years, the spiritual root was upgraded to top grade. After spending 1347 million years, the spiritual root is upgraded to super grade. The spiritual roots further back still increase tenfold. It consumes 100,000 years of life. Li Tianyi currently only has a lifespan of 2 million years. I originally wanted to spend 1 million years of my life to upgrade Li Qingqing to a super grade spiritual root. But after thinking about it carefully, I must keep my lifespan longer. Avoid emergencies. Anyway, high-grade spiritual roots are completely sufficient in Yangzong. The top-grade spiritual roots are not bad, just like his own child Li Feng, who established a foundation within a few years. If it hadn't been for the change of the 3-turn Zon Gong now, Li Feng would have already reached the first level of the golden core. It may hurt a little, please bear with it. Well, I understand, Li Lang. Ding. 2 streams of red and blue light escaped from Li Tiany's body and followed his hand into Li Qingqing's meridians. It's a little different from what Li Tiany imagined. He thought Li Qingqing would feel a lot of pain. After all, according to records in ancient books, there is a way to improve spiritual roots, but the process will be extremely painful. The spiritual root is something located on your Baihui point. If you want to change this spiritual root, the pain is equivalent to the pain of extracting your bone marrow and replacing it with new bone marrow. There was no anesthetic during this period. The pain is so severe that anyone who is not determined will probably go crazy. In order to allow Li Qingqing to improve his qualifications and practice, Li Tiany can be said to have taken great pains. Li Qingqing was also informed in advance so that she could be prepared. Unexpectedly, there didn't seem to be any pain, and Li Qingqing didn't even seem to feel anything. Is it over, Li Lang? Li Qingqing blinked his big watery eyes curiously. It should be over, put your hand up and take a look. Li Tiany took out the spiritual root testing stone that he had prepared. Li Qingqing made it and put it up. For a while, the room is filled with the radiance of blue and red. There is also a touch of coldness from the water, and a touch of warmth from the water. It's done. I am. Li Qingqing was so surprised that he couldn't speak. My spiritual roots have been improved. After staying in Fengyan sect for so long, Li Qingqing has learned a lot about some common sense in the world of immortality. For example, if the test stone is like today, it means that your spiritual root has reached the high-grade spiritual root of the water and fire dual systems. Such a powerful spiritual root was actually given to him by Jiha. Li Lang. Li Qingqing hugged Li Tiany emotionally. Although she didn't know what methods Li Tiany used to upgrade her spiritual root to a high-grade spiritual root. But it is conceivable that there must be a lot of sacrifices. Otherwise, how would it be possible to turn an ordinary mortal spiritual root into a high-grade spiritual root? By the way, this is a technique for you, just learn this technique from now on. Double system of high-grade spiritual roots. Li Qingqing has the capital to learn the 3-turn Zon Gong. As something Li Feng had obtained by chance before, Li Tiany could already use his lifespan to double the 3-turn mysterious power. But he didn't use it. Because if he wanted to increase the 3-turn mystical power 100 times, he would need 1,000,000 lifespans, which he couldn't afford. It seems it's time to collect a wave of spiritual stones from various sects. Who said that he would only use the spirit stone to give birth to a child? Li Tiany is now the unique overlord in Yangzong, and his words are absolute. I need spiritual stones. Who dares to resist other forces? Well, don't worry, Li Lang. I will definitely devote myself to practice and try to provide you with some help as soon as possible. Li Qingqing took over the 3-turn Zon Gong technique and nodded solemnly. It just so happened that she had nothing to do in the backyard on weekdays. From now on, I will concentrate on my practice. Not to mention that I can catch up with Li Lang, at least I will not let myself stand still and chase Li Lang's footsteps. Zongmin Main Hall. Li Tiany used his own means to call all the sect leaders, including Zhang Shan from the royal family and Li Wenbo from the demon sect. Only Wei Kei from the Broken Corpse sect did not come. Li Wenbo, what are you doing here? Lu Bai said angrily. He has never liked people from the demon sect. If it weren't for the fear that the demon would bite him before he died. Lu Bai had already raised his arms and shouted loudly. The sects calling for the right way swarmed forward and wiped out the demon sect. HMPH, of course I was invited by Senior. Could it be that you are dissatisfied with Senior? Li Wenbo raised his eyebrows. Of course I can't be dissatisfied with my Senior. Lu Bai changed his words in a panic. Fortunately, the seniors haven't come yet. Otherwise, what if there is a misunderstanding? It annoyed the seniors. Ji Yu Lincheng and the others were the best example. Lu Bai, do you know why Senior asked us to come? Lei Heng looked at the majestic hall and asked in confusion. He was originally planning to pay a visit to his family. They were all preparing to set sail on the ferry boat, but suddenly received news from their seniors that they were coming to Fengyan sect to gather. Liu Bai shook his head. What is his identity and how can he guess what the senior means? Sect Master Gu. Zhang Shan asked. Do you know why senior called me to wait? As the person beside his senior, Zhang Shan felt that Gu Qingxi should know something. Just wait and wait. Why are you in such a hurry? It was rare that Gu Qingxi didn't have a child in her arms this time. Li Liling was carried away by Grand Supreme Elder Yi Chuyu. Today's Gu Qingxi, since breaking through the bottleneck, her own strength has been rising without any hindrance. Judging from this sharp aura, he should be entering the 5th level of nascent soul soon. A lot of accumulated spiritual energy was consumed. Du Mingxie, who originally wanted to speak when Gu Qingxi refused to speak, chose to remain silent. After a while, just as everyone was talking about it, Li Tianyi came leisurely from outside. Senior. When everyone saw this, they hurriedly bowed down and shouted respectfully. Everyone is here. Li Tianyi climbed up the steps in one step and sat on the throne of the sect leader. Gu Qingxi stood beside him. May I ask, Senior, why did you call us here? Lei Heng plucked up the courage to step forward and asked. Actually, there is nothing else. I just want to ask everyone, how many idle spiritual stones do your various sects have in their hands? Li Tianyi leaned forward slightly and showed a playful smile. A smart person should be able to understand what he means. Lei Heng was a little confused. Liu Bai was still thinking. Li Wenbo stood there and didn't know why, and Du Mingxie must have guessed it. However, when she saw that other people were not moving, she didn't know what to do. The fastest mover was the Emperor Zhang Shan. Senior, I suddenly remembered something. I just killed a few corrupt officials a while ago and found a total of 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones from their homes. Originally, I was still thinking about how to deal with these spiritual stones. Now that I think about it, you, Senior, need them most. After all, there are so many children in need of education. Zhang Shan even found a reason for Li Tianyi. After hearing Zhang Shan's words, the others showed expressions of sudden realization. It turns out that Senior meant to get spiritual stones. Senior, RG Lei Sword Sect is not as rich as the royal family. In my own name, I would like to dedicate 15,000 high-grade spiritual stones to you, Senior. I hope you don't dislike it. Luya Sect, the Flesh-Eating Gate. Our Xuanian sect doesn't have many free spiritual stones on hand, only 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones. In an instant, Li Tianyi received donations from everyone, totaling 63,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Of course, I haven't gotten it yet. This group of sect leaders didn't know what Li Tianyi wanted to do with them at first. None of them were prepared. It is impossible to carry so many spiritual stones with you, so it will naturally take a while to reach Li Tianyi's hands. Ha ha ha, Li Tianyi, will definitely remember everyone's help today. If you have any trouble, feel free to tell me. If I can solve it, I will definitely help. Li Tianyi made everyone happy. As for whether they believe in this pie or not, that is their business. In short, he can definitely get his spiritual stone. This group of people said what they said, but if they regretted it later, wouldn't it be equivalent to provoking the hatred of a nascent soul Dzogchen monk? What's more, Li Tianyi can now unleash the power of the great perfection in the divine transformation stage. Not afraid of these guys at all. The worst-case scenario is to destroy them all. After a brief exchange, everyone went back to their respective homes to prepare spiritual stones for Li Tianyi. Only Li Wenbo stayed. What are you still doing here? Li Tianyi asked. Gu Qingxi frowned slightly. This guy from the demon sect must not be up to any tricks. Hehe, Senior, I would like to ask if you are satisfied with Meng Ziyao. Li Wenbo asked with a smile. I'm very satisfied, you did a good job, Li Wenbo. Li Tianyi was extremely satisfied. Without Meng Ziyao, it would probably take a while for him to receive the system upgrade. As long as you are satisfied, Senior, I actually want to talk to you about the Corpse Gate. Li Wenbo returned to preaching. The Broken Corpse Sect. Oh, it's Wei Kei's sect party, right? Why are you talking about this? Li Tianyi asked boredly, holding his head with his hands. Could this guy have some evil thoughts about the Corpse Gate? Senior, like this, you see, since Yang Zongguo had your existence, there has never been any conflict between the righteous way and the evil way. All this is thanks to you, but what about Wei Kei? In this situation, I have to leave you and not take the initiative to hit you. At first glance, it seems that they have bad intentions. I think it is still necessary to join forces with other sects to destroy the Broken Corpse sect. By the way, we can also divide the resources of the Grey Fog sect and the Bloodthirsty sect together. Li Wenbo expressed his innermost thoughts. He was quite bold. As soon as he opened his mouth, he wanted to destroy the Corpse sect and the other 3 demon sects together. The only demon sect left in the entire Yangzong kingdom was his flesh-eating sect. Do you think you have that ability? Li Tianyi said funny ly. Li Wenbo's ambitions are really big. If you devour other sects, who will benefit from it? This is naturally the flesh erosion sect. At that time, the only choice for the disciples of the demon sect without the demon sect is to join the flesh erotic sect. Relying on absorbing so many demon sect disciples, the strength of the flesh erosion sect will definitely increase rapidly. Even the elders of the demon sect will join in. With the resources and people of these other demon sects, flesh erosion layer is fully capable of becoming the only super minister in Yangjing Kingdom. Senior, please believe me, I definitely have the ability to manage the demon sect well. Li Wenbo shouted decisively. Li Wenbo, sometimes your mouth is too big and your stomach can't hold it. Li Tianyi reminded Li Wenbo. Senior, I want to give it a try. Li Wenbo gritted his teeth and said. If you make a bet, what if it works out? I don't have any ideas about the Corpse sect for the time being, but the Grey Fog sect and the Bloodthirsty sect, I heard that their supreme elder has become the new leader, right? Yes, senior. They are now weak. I will ask other sects to join forces with your flesh-eating sect to help you deal with these 2 sects. You will find a way to eat the meat-eating skewers. No problem, senior. Li Wenbo was ecstatic. You bet right. Seniors are willing to help themselves. Although the senior did not do it himself, at least with the power of the senior, he could mobilize the power of the righteous sect. Although Li Wenbo himself didn't have a good impression of Zhengdao's group of people. But I have to say that their strength is not inferior to that of the demon sect. Otherwise, both sides would not have been in a stalemate for such a long time without a clear winner or loser. The Grey Fog sect and the Bloodthirsty sect are now 2 lost dogs. With their power, they can definitely be easily annexed. Let's go, prepare the spirit stones for me as soon as possible, and I also remind you, be careful, don't be killed by the Corpse sect then. Li Tianyi said. This must not be happening. Li Wenbo turned around and flew away from the sect hall. Tianyi, do you really want to help Li Wenbo clean up your 2 demon gates? Why not? I want some benefits from destroying these 2 demon sects. How could Li Tianyi help Li Wenbo in vain? After all, some interest will be charged. Such as spiritual stones. Li Tianyi is not interested in anything else, but he only needs spiritual stones. Qingxi, I want to ask you, what realm is the strongest monk in the Dingyang dynasty? Li Tianyi wanted to know how the strength of the divine transformation Zouchen ranked in the Dingyang dynasty. He will definitely stay in Yangzongguo for a short time. If you want to become stronger faster, you must go to a larger world. For example, Dingyang dynasty. Chong Rumiao, Zhang Fengling's former senior sister, is the most typical example. Wood-type super spiritual root. In the entire Yangzongguo, the only genius with super-grade spiritual roots is Li Tianyi's own child. I don't know much about the Dingyang dynasty. Before I became the head of the Fengyan sect, I met a senior sister from the Gai sect. She once said that her master is a powerful practitioner of void refining. Ji Yu Qingxi has never left Dingyang dynasty. There is also very little information about the Dingyang dynasty. We can only roughly understand the basic information about the Dingyang dynasty. For example, the 3 major forces within the Dingyang dynasty were the Gai sect, the Tianmo sect, and the Dingyang royal family themselves. It seems that next time Zhang Fengling comes back, I have to ask Zhang Fengling. Since he has the power of refining the void, Li Tianyi knows that his divine perfection cannot go sideways. Then just be patient. Don't deal with those people from Dingyang dynasty for the time being. So as not to bring disaster to yourself. There is less than a day left. The 63,000 high-grade spiritual stones promised by the sect leaders were handed over to Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi absorbed it all. This translates into a total lifespan of 6.3 million years. Coupled with Li Tianyi's original lifespan, it was enough for him to waste 910 divine transformation stage perfection blows. In the past, Li Tianyi would feel that this number of times was too few. But after experiencing the previous Demon Gate incident, he understood a truth. So what if the frequency is small? As long as you show off in front of others and scare them to the point of fear, no one will dare to provoke you. Just like Liu Bai and the others now. Since killing the 2 demon sect masters, they are now as obedient as dogs. Li Tianyi felt that even if he told the truth, these guys might not dare to act rashly. After all, if anyone moves first, he will definitely die in his own hands. At the same time, after the people who delivered the spirit stones returned, they also brought back Li Tianyi's new orders. When they learned that Li Tianyi wanted them to join forces with Li Wenbo to clean the Grey Fog Gate and the Bloodthirsty Gate. This group of people were stunned. I don't quite understand why the senior suddenly asked them to cooperate with the demon sect's actions. We also want to destroy those 2 sects together. But since it was the order from their seniors, of course they had no objections or complaints. Moreover, this time, a large group of people came to act, and there was no need to worry that these 2 old dogs would bite him temporarily. Each sect immediately arranged for their elites to set out on their own and arrived at Li Wenbo's Flash Erosion sect. Under the leadership of Li Wenbo, they headed towards the Grey Mist Gate and the Bloodthirsty Gate with great momentum. Seeing so many monks, the monks from the Right Way and the Demon Sect are still trying to destroy themselves. There was no need to go through any fierce fighting. Half of the Demon Sect disciples surrendered before the fight even started. Next came the elders. However, Taishang Lao still has some backbone. Under the siege of other sect elders, it took a while to finally kill the elders of the Bloodthirsty Sect and Grey Fog Sect. It took half a month in total. If Li Wenbo's Flash Erosion Sect had come alone before, he wouldn't have dared to think about it. Next it's time to divide the spoils. Everyone had a tacit understanding and separated out the spiritual stones and some magic weapons. We, the righteous sect, don't need the magic skills of the demon sect, but there are some magic weapons that are quite suitable for us. Give us the magic weapons. Li Wenbo, do you have any objections? Liu Bai said, although some of the magic skills of the demon sect are good, they are all magic skills. For their righteous monks to practice magic, doesn't it mean that they have given up all their previous practice? They would not be stupid enough to do such a thing that is not worth the gain. Even some magic weapons are full of evil nature. They need to take it back and give it to their own refiner to refine it before it can be used, which is really a bit troublesome. But they must have these things, otherwise their trip would be in vain. No problem, you can take all the magic weapons and other things with you. Li Wenbo would not be so stingy. Li Tianyi's words were still in his mind. Don't open your mouth too wide. If it's yours, it's yours. If it's not yours, give it to others. So as not to cause dissatisfaction to everyone. There are also these spiritual stones. What do you think about giving them to Senior Li if you want me to say anything? Lei Heng looked around and shouted loudly. I have no opinion. Me neither. It just so happened that Tianyi wanted the spirit stone, so I collected it on his behalf, and I will give it to him when I get back. Ji Yuqingxi took the initiative to step forward and use the space ring to collect all the mountains of spiritual stones. It looks like a lot. In fact, most of them are low-grade spiritual stones and some mid-grade spiritual stones. There are not many high-grade spiritual stones. I guess there should be the equivalent of 30,000 to 40,000 high-grade spiritual stones. It seems that the situation of the demon sect is not very optimistic, and it is a bit tiring. After the benefits were distributed, everyone went back to their homes. Fengyan sect, Li Tianyi's 2 wives, Gong Ranran and Bu Menglan, are about to give birth. Liu Bai specially brought them to Fengyan sect again, so that they could get closer to Li Tianyi to cultivate their emotions. How do you feel about your stomach? Li Tianyi specially cooked a pot of medicinal soup for his 2 wives. Provide them with nutrition. In the world of cultivating immortals, when a child with spiritual roots is still in the belly, he absorbs a relatively large amount of the spiritual energy and nutrients from his mother. This is why some children are born earlier. It's not that they don't want to stay in their stomachs and wait for the right time. It is only after the nutrients and spiritual energy of the mother's body have been absorbed by them that there is nothing left to absorb, the child will be born. I could feel the baby in my belly kicking me. Gong Ranran stroked his belly and showed a loving smile. Every wife of Li Tianyi will show the brilliance of motherhood when she is pregnant with a child. Maybe this is their unique talent. Me too. So this is what it feels like to be pregnant. It's really amazing. Bu Menglin agreed. While Li Tianyi was communicating with them, Meng Ziyao walked out at this moment. Hello, sisters, my name is Meng Ziyao, and I am the senior, Meng Ziyao originally wanted to introduce her identity. Suddenly, I remembered that I didn't seem to know which wife was ranked in Li Tianyi's harem. It's okay, Sister Ziyao, we don't really care about this, just call us by our names. Yes, you don't have to worry so much. Besides, your cultivation is stronger than ours. Strictly speaking, we still call you senior. These women get along pretty well. Li Tianyi doesn't have to worry about them getting jealous. The harmony in the backyard is a scene that every man wants to see. Li Tianyi's daily task now is to chat with his wives, cultivate relationships, and water the flowers and weeds. Don't worry about anything at all. Tianyi, a soft voice reached my ears. Li Tianyi heard the sound and looked around, and saw that Ji Yu Qingxi, who had been away from Fengyan Sect for more than half a month, was back. Looking at how happy you were when you come back, you must have solved both the Grey Mist Gate and the Bloodthirsty Gate, right? Yes, Tianyi, after being away from you for half a month, I really miss you so much. I wish I could. I didn't expect that everyone is here. Ji Yu Qingxi was about to say something disgusting. Suddenly, he noticed several eyes falling on him. Only then did I realize that my sisters were all watching here. What does Qingxi want to say to Tianyi? Oh, it must be something like I love you and miss you very much. This is normal, let alone half a month, even if I haven't seen my husband for a day, I will be impatient. Okay, stop talking, Qingxi's face is turning red. Listening to the sisters teasing, Ji Yu Qingxi blushed and glanced away, not daring to look at everyone's eyes. Stop teasing Qingxi, keep talking, I'm listening. Li Tianyi smiled. Well, Tianyi, these are the spiritual stones we collected from the 2 magic gates. When Ji Yu Qingxi collected these spiritual stones, I also specially picked up a new space ring. You have a heart. Li Tianyi took the ring. After a little exploration with my spiritual sense, I found that there were quite a few inside. Most of them are low-grade spiritual stones, but it's not clear how many there are. This is what I should do, Tianyi. Ji Yu Qingxi gently nestled in Li Tianyi's arms. Late at night, Li Tianyi took out all the glowing spiritual stones and began to absorb them. It took a little while. Now Li Tianyi's lifespan has exceeded the 10 million mark. A total of 3,987,151 years of life have been added. Host: Li Tianyi. Age: 49. Cultivation: Foundation building great perfection. Qualification: 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining life: 12 million lifespans. Because of his previous marriage with Meng Ziyao, Li Tianyi's cultivation level was unexpectedly improved. This was the first time after the system upgrade that he improved his own cultivation without having any heirs to support him. It's a pity that I can't improve my spiritual roots. Li Tianyi was a little helpless. If it were possible, he wouldn't have to wait all day long for his heirs' cultivation to feed him back. You can even break through to the golden elixir stage in advance. Tomorrow let's see how much life it takes to enhance the children's spiritual roots. The previous children's spiritual roots were not very high because of their wife's spiritual roots. But since they are all Li Tianyi's children, Li Tianyi certainly cannot give up on them. The original spiritual roots were not used, so the lifespan was used to forcibly improve them. It doesn't need to be too high, high-grade spiritual roots are enough. Morning. Father, I heard that you were looking for us. The children headed by Li Xing all came to Li Tianyi. Most of them have medium-grade spiritual roots and good-grade spiritual roots. Not too many, not too many, not too many, there are 8 in total. Among them, there are 4 children with medium-grade spiritual roots and 4 children with good-grade spiritual roots. You are not allowed to mention what happens next to anyone, do you understand? Being able to give birth to a child with spiritual roots, the ancient kidney body is enough to be shocking. If anyone still knew that Li Tianyi had the ability to enhance spiritual roots, I am afraid that even the most powerful power in the world of immortality will drag Li Tianyi over and use him as a tool. Understood. Li Xing and the others responded. Ding. It is detected that the descendant Li Xing has a middle-grade spiritual root of the fire system. Will it take 1,000,000 years of life to upgrade to the highest grade spiritual root? Ding. It has been detected that the heir Li Shui'er has a middle-grade spiritual root of the water system. Should it take 1,000,000 years of life to upgrade to a high-grade spiritual root? Ding. It has been detected that the descendant Li Shuiyan has a high-grade spiritual root of the earth system. Should it take 1,000,000 years of life to upgrade to a high-grade spiritual root? By improving the talent and spiritual roots of the descendants, Li Tianyi made a surprising discovery. No matter how talented the heir is, the lifespan consumed by the final promotion is the same. It takes 1,000,000 years of life to improve to a high-grade spiritual root. It's actually a bit much. After all, if it were to give birth to an heir, it would only take 1,000 years of life. I became a high-grade spiritual root. Are you guys too? As expected of my father. Father is truly a miracle. Okay, each of you, don't get carried away. Although your spiritual roots have been improved, if you don't work hard, you will still stand still. Yes, Father, we understand. After calming down the impetuous children, Li Tianyi gave each of them a copy of the 3 transformations mysterious technique. Now that everyone has high-grade spiritual roots, let's practice this advanced technique together. When Li Tianyi finds other good exercises later, he will share them with everyone. After the children thanked Li Tianyi, they went back to practice hard. Their father gave them such good spiritual roots, how could they waste their time? Naturally, they must work hard to practice in order to repay their father's great kindness. Watching these children leave, Li Tianyi called over his strongest child so far, Li Feng. Father, what did you call me? Li Feng's current state is in the great perfection of foundation building. According to the usual speed, he would not need a month to complete the elixir formation. But after practicing the 3-turn mysterious skill, he will soon start practicing again from the foundation level. However, each conversion practice will no longer take as long as before, and the progress will be faster. How is your practice of the 3 transformations mysterious technique? Li Tianyi asked. He does not need to practice Kung Fu himself, he only relies on the feedback to cultivate his abilities. I plan to find some exercises to assist my practice after forming the elixir. So far, he has not found one that satisfies him. The 3rd transformation Zhan Gong is good, but it is not suitable for his 5 elements useless spiritual roots. Even if it was a low-grade spiritual root of the 5 elements, he would still choose to practice the 3 transformations mysterious technique. Everything is normal at the moment. I plan to work hard tomorrow and rehone my cultivation according to the rhythm of the exercises. Li Feng revealed his plan. The talents of his younger brothers and sisters are more amazing than the last, so he must work harder and harder. You did a great job, Li Feng. You are one of the children I admire most. When Li Tianyi encouraged Li Feng, he conveniently put his hand on Li Feng's shoulder. Ding. It has been detected that the heir Li Feng has a high-grade gold-type spiritual root. He cannot consume the lifespan-enhancing spiritual root for the time being and needs to upgrade. Sure enough, there is no other way. Li Tianyi also wanted to see if he could see in advance how long the lifespan needed to improve the high-grade spiritual roots. Prepare yourself mentally. After the changes brought about by this system upgrade, I initially thought that a lifespan of tens of millions of years was enough. Unexpectedly, compared with these, it is still too little. But he only needs to stay in Yongzong's country to be considered safe. A lifespan of 20 million years is enough for him to deal with the enemy. My father, yes, father, besides that, I would like to find a chance to leave the Fengyan sect. I think I will always stay in the Fengyan sect. It won't be of much help to my cultivation, so I plan to go out and have a look. Li Feng no longer wants to stay in Fengyan sect to practice. He longs for a bigger world. Think this is just wasting time. It is better to leave Fengyan sect and look at the opportunities outside. Just like the last time when Nascent Soul was powerful, my father said that he was a lucky person. Go out to the outside world. Then tell me, where do you plan to go? Since the teleportation came into being, Ji Tiankong felt relieved. Taking a step back, even if Li Feng is in danger, the enemy is still something Li Tianyi cannot defeat. The worst-case scenario is to teleport him back with you. He didn't believe that the enemy could follow his teleportation. System transmission is not a simple transmission of magic circles and secrets. The transmission of the two will more or less leave their own aura for the other party to detect and track. The system teleportation is similar to disappearing out of thin air, leaving the enemy unable to find it at all. Dingyang Dynasty, I heard Master talking to you and your aunts before, and I plan to go there to see the world. Li Feng said. Dingyang Dynasty. That's fine. If you want to go, just go. I won't stop you. Li Tianyi chuckled. Speaking of this, he suddenly remembered that the system had also updated a function. You can check the luck of your children and the major events that will happen recently. Ding. Do you want to spend 10,000 years of your life to check the fate of your heir Li Feng and the recent events in the future? Yes. Li Tianyi thought silently in his heart. Son's name, Li Feng. Luck, 56. Normal person is 10. Recent events. After leaving Yangzhongguo, when passing through the Ziyang Mountains, I encountered a powerful demon cultivator on the way. Fortunately, I survived with the help of my father Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi raised his eyebrows. It seemed that Li Feng was indeed what he thought. Luck is really good. Don't look at only 56, you should know that the average normal person is only 10. However, because his luck is not high enough, Li Feng is still in danger in his own opportunities. Li Feng, if you want to go to the Dingyang Dynasty, don't take the road to the Ziyang Mountains. Go in another direction. Li Tianyi reminded. Not going to the Ziyang Mountains. I understand, father. Although Li Feng didn't quite understand why his father suddenly said this to him. But he will do it anyway. Whatever my father said is right. Dingyang Dynasty. Return to one clan. Wind spirit. Ah, I'm here, master. Ahead, a beautiful woman was sitting on a futon and preaching to her disciples. Suddenly she noticed that her little disciple Zhang Fengling was completely out of shape. The whole person was absent-minded, staring blankly at the horizon in trance. You're not thinking about your husband, are you? Master Sha Yuxuan sighed. Ever since she found out that her young apprentice was getting married just after returning to Yangzhongguo, she was so angry that she clenched her teeth. For this reason, she also spoke up to senior sister Chong Rumiao. Let her go and see her junior sister, who asked her to get her junior sister married. We are obviously still at a critical moment in our cultivation, so how can we be distracted by this? I don't, master. Zhang Fengling blushed and lowered her head. Sha Yuxuan waved her hand and signaled the other disciples to leave first. Chong Rumiao wanted to go with her senior brothers, but was stopped by her master Sha Yuxuan alone. Chong Miao, how many times have I told you, watch your junior sister and don't let your junior sister be influenced by the royal family of Yangzhongguo. I know, master. The problem is that this matter is a matter of mutual consent between junior sister and the others. How can I break it up? Master, didn't you say that you would rather demolish a temple than a marriage? Facing her master Sha Yuxuan's scolding, Chong Rumiao retorted aggrievedly. I strictly followed master's requirements. Originally, she had planned to hide the news of Mei Fengling's marriage for the time being. Unexpectedly, Zhang Fengling couldn't keep her mouth shut when she came back. It was revealed all at once. If you really understood what I meant, you wouldn't have let Fengling get married. If I had been there at that time, I would have wanted to see what that man was capable of. Can Fengling marry him? Sha Yuxuan touched Zhang Fengling's head distressedly. I feel sorry for my little disciple. I hope her husband will not let her down. Master, I forgot to mention, that man's name is Li Tianyi, his bone age is 49 years old, his cultivation level is unclear, but he is higher than me. Chong Rumiao introduced Li Tianyi's situation. Taller than you, are you sure? Ripples appeared in Sha Yuxuan's beautiful eyes. Real or fake? You must know that Chong Rumiao is a genius with super-grade wood spiritual roots. She is already smart enough to be able to achieve the 8th level of nascent soul cultivation at the age of 100 years. As a result, she is now told that Li Tianyi's bone age is 49, which is higher than Chong Rumiao's cultivation level. Have you been deceived? Sha Yuxuan said doubtfully. Some people are able to use special means to conceal their cultivation. You won't be deceived, master. In fact, I secretly inquired about this man named Li Tianyi. Before, I killed 2 monks on the 3rd level of nascent soul with just 1 blow. This level of cultivation is definitely not low. Chong Rumiao is not stupid. It's impossible to just look at the surface. She also investigated secretly. Quote, Can a small Yang Zongguo actually give birth to such a proud son of heaven? As Chong Rumiao said, Sha Yudu wanted to meet Ji Tianshou. Ah, just chatting. Zhang Fengling suddenly felt a little nauseous and couldn't help retching. This move shocked Sha Yuxuan's eyes. Fengling, are you pregnant? Ah, pregnant. Zhang Fengling thought it was unlikely. I just stayed with Li Tianyi for 1 night. Isn't it said that the higher the level of cultivation, the harder it is for a monk to conceive a child? How could she be so lucky to be pregnant? There's nothing impossible about it. If you're pregnant, you don't have to do it. The thought that Zhang Fengling might be pregnant with a child. Sha Yuxuan couldn't help but say something to Chong Rumiao again. Now Zhang Fengling has not yet achieved the golden elixir. If she gets pregnant so soon, it will be a big burden on her practice. You must know that Zhang Fengling has been unable to let go of her thoughts because of the affairs of her Yang Zongguo royal family. Otherwise, with her special physique and spiritual root quality, she would have achieved the golden elixir long ago. But isn't the junior sister now at the stage of foundation establishment and getting the golden elixir soon? Chong Rumiao retorted in a low voice. Before marrying Li Tianyi, the junior sister was still stuck at the 9th level of foundation building. Why didn't Master say that getting married can increase one's cultivation? Sha Yuxuan touched Zhang Fengling's belly and relied on her palm to transfer her spiritual energy into Mei Fengling's belly. After a while, Sha Yuxuan sighed faintly. I really don't want anything to come, so I have to come. You are pregnant, Fengling. I'm pregnant. Zhang Fengling pointed at herself in surprise. She looks so pregnant. Next, you have 2 choices. Abort the child and concentrate on practicing, or choose to give birth to it. Sha Yuxuan said, children are a burden for most immortal cultivators, especially if the children do not have any strong talents. For example, monks who are powerful and talented will take various medicinal materials that can increase the talent of their children before pregnancy. In this way, there is no guarantee that the child's spiritual roots will be very good. On the other hand, physique is easily passed on. Quote. Zhang Fengling was at a loss. Why do you have to make a choice so soon? Master, my junior sister's pregnancy was too sudden, please give her some time. Chong Rumiao took the initiative to step forward and help Zhang Fengling out of trouble. Anyway, I was scolded so badly by my master that it didn't matter if I helped my junior sister block a few more knives. You still say, it's not all your fault. Yes, it's all my fault. Are you awake, master? Seeing Chong Rumiao dealing with him perfunctorily, Sha Yu became even more angry. I couldn't help but stretched out my hand and grabbed Chong Rumiao's white and tender ears. Come here. Just in case Chong Rumiao, the apprentice she had grown up watching, would follow in Zhang Fengling's footsteps. Sha Yuxuan decided to explain to Chong Rumiao how much trouble premature marriage and having children would bring to the female monk. Watching her master and senior sister leave, Zhang Fengling lowered her head and touched her belly. Are you really pregnant? No, she must form a golden elixir as soon as possible so that she can go back and explain the good news to Li Tianyi. After all, a powerful monk like Li Tianyi would be very happy to have his own heir. Zhang Fengling couldn't help but want to share this happy event. Fengyan Sect, Feiyunfeng. Li Tianyi is receiving an unexpected guest. That is the master of Xuanian Sect, Dumingxie. Dumingxie is really beautiful. She is not the kind of beauty that Meng Ziyao has. There is a special temperament about him, like a holy fairy standing in front of you, giving you a feeling that you can only watch from a distance but not play with it. I wonder what the master of Du Sect wants to see me for. Li Tianyi and Dumingxie asked questions while playing chess. After telling Zhang Shan the rules of chess, Zhang Shan promoted chess in Yang Zongguo. Very popular with everyone. Many monks followed and studied together. The process of spiritual practice is always boring, and you still need to have some fun. Senior, I would like to ask you to do something for me. If you are willing to help, Xuanian Sect is willing to offer another 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones as a reward. Dumingxie raised her ice-clear face, her beautiful eyes full of pleading. 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones were already almost all of Xuanian Sect's savings. The remaining spiritual stones are needed to maintain the daily expenses of the Yamato sect. 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones. This should be a big deal for the Xuanian sect. I want to know what you want from me, Lord Du. You are actually willing to give so many spiritual stones just to ask for my help. Li Tianyi was not blinded by the 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones and easily agreed to Du Mingshui's request. To be on the safe side, he had to figure out what was going on. Let me tell you the truth, senior. In fact, it took a Xuanian sect 5,000 years to come to Yangzhongguo. Du Mingshui spoke eloquently. It turns out that Xuanian sect is not the local sect of Yangzhongguo. The predecessor of Xuanian sect was Yusu Pavilion, one of the Yaoqi Holy Lands, which specialized in managing the most advanced techniques of the sect. The Yaoqi Holy Land is a top force in Zhongzhou. Unfortunately, the pavilion master at the back had a dispute with the holy master of Yaoqi Holy Land. The two fought over this, and the pavilion master finally got angry. He ran away with the most important skills of the Yaoqi Holy Land and a few direct disciples. The Yaoqi Holy Land was furious when they found out about this, and launched a hunt for the pavilion master and the others. The pavilion master wanted to ensure that the skills would not be taken back by the Yaoqi Holy Land. He called his most trusted disciple and asked her to run away with her skills, while he and other disciples stayed to fend off the pursuers. The last disciple ran all the way to Yangzhongguo with his skills. In order to make his identity reasonable, the disciple founded the Xuanian sect and recruited female disciples. Unfortunately, while escaping, this disciple encountered several pursuers who intercepted him. During a battle, he was seriously injured. This kind of injury can only be cured by the top alchemist in Zhongzhou. But that disciple, the founder of the Xuanian sect, was wanted by the Yaoqi Holy Land in Zhongzhou, so where could he go back? So it slowly faded away from the injury. Before his death, the first-generation sect master used his own power to create a cave, which recorded the top techniques brought from the Yaoqi Holy Land. This secret has been passed down from generation to generation by the sect masters, but it is a pity that it requires someone who is at the stage of becoming a god to pass the test. But the Xuanian sect's skills can only be practiced up to the 5th level of nascent soul. Du Mingshui expressed his difficulties. The limit of the skill is the 5th level of nascent soul. No matter how hard she tries, how can she enter the stage of divine transformation? And if you want to enter the divine transformation stage, you must have the skills in the cave. This creates an endless loop. The skills to achieve the transformation into a god are in the cave. To go to the cave and pass the test requires the strength to become a god. Even the most amazing master of Xuanian sect in the previous generation, who has reached the 8th level of nascent soul, is still unable to obtain inheritance. So you are looking for me to help you obtain your inheritance? Li Tianyi finally understood what Du Mingshui meant. Yes, senior, if you can help me obtain the inheritance, not only 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones, but you can also read about Yusu Pavilion's techniques. I just hope you don't tell too many people about this technique, so as not to be known by the Yaoqi Holy Land in Zhongzhou and lead to death. This is the reason why Du Mingshui came to Li Tianyi. Xuanian sect cannot continue like this. There was no way before, but now there is a powerful person in front of him who may be in the stage of becoming a god. Du Mingshui must seize this opportunity. Aren't you afraid that I will monopolize your inheritance or tell the news to Yaoqi Holy Land and get rewards from Yaoqi Holy Land? Li Tianyi joked. It seems that I haven't had much contact with Du Mingshui. He actually believed in himself so much. I believe that senior is not such a person. Before this, I have always had a sneak peek through Ji Yu Qingxi, and I have a general understanding of your personality, senior. Besides, I'm afraid you are the only one who I know best about the great master of the divine transformation stage. Please help me, senior. Du Mingshui bent towards Li Tianyi. The black silk hanging down her white neck, blowing in the breeze, is like a soft willow tree, attracting attention. The yard suddenly became quiet. Li Tianyi pushed the chess pieces, and the chessboard changed, bringing life back from the edge of death. Let's go and stay with you. We've agreed in advance that if I can't help you, I will also take 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones. Do you understand? I understand, thank you, senior. Du Mingshui's cold and frosty little face finally melted away, revealing a warm smile. The iceberg seemed to be melted by the rising sun in front of me. In order to prevent his true cultivation from being discovered, Li Tianyi almost never uses a sword to fly, and basically relies on other people's ferry boats to fly. Otherwise, he would not be able to learn the flying speeds of Yuanying monks and God-transforming monks. Xuanyanmen. After Du Mingshui brought Li Tianyi to the sect, the entire sect became very lively. Which one is the senior? Looks so young. No, powerful monks can change their appearance. No, I heard that the bone age of this senior is only 49 years old. Has the master of the sect finally come to his senses? When the female disciples were chatting about Li Tianyi, the elders of Xuanyan sect couldn't help but burst into tears. They had always hoped that the sect leader could marry their senior so that he could help the Xuanyan sect catch up with other sects. Unexpectedly, the master of the sect was struggling from beginning to end and had no decision at all. They had no hope at all. Unexpectedly, there is another village where there is a bright future. The master of the sect finally figured it out. Zongmin Main Hall. You all stay here. No matter what happens to you, you are absolutely not allowed to come in. Do you understand? Du Mingshui stopped, turned around and gave instructions to the elders. She didn't know what would happen if she entered the cave to accept the inheritance. In order to prevent others from knowing, she must inform these elders in advance. Hey, we understand, Master, please don't worry, no matter what kind of noise comes from inside, we promise to pretend not to hear it. Yes, Lord Sect Master, please rest assured. Master Sect Master, it doesn't matter if you enjoy yourself as much as you want. Seeing the excited expressions of the elders, Du Mingshui was confused. Why do the elders speak so strangely today? With such doubts, Du Mingshui and Li Tianyi entered the sect hall. As soon as the two of them entered, the elders couldn't wait to come over, wanting to eavesdrop on something. In the main hall, Du Mingshui took Li Tianyi to the back of the hall. In order to prevent others from seeing it, a magic circle was specially summoned to cover it. This made Li Tianyi, who understood the words of the elders, a little bit fascinated. Isn't it just to help Du Mingshui obtain the inheritance? Why do you act like you are having an affair? Senior, you have been kept waiting for a long time. Du Mingshui waved his arm, and the space ring flashed with brilliance. A picture of mountains and rivers with green mountains and green waters appeared in front of them. There are flying birds and the scorching sun in the mountains and rivers painting, which are lifelike. It's like there's a real world inside. This painting is called the Picture of Mountains and Rivers, and it is a magic weapon brought by the founder of Xuanyan sect from Yusu Pavilion. The first generation of sect masters relied on this magic weapon to create this cave. If you want to truly master the beautiful scenery of mountains and rivers, you must learn the special skills in it. Du Mingshui felt tired when she talked about this. It really goes hand in hand. No matter what, you need to take out the exercises inside and learn them first. Does this mean we are going to enter this painting next? Li Tianyi asked. Yes, Senior. Oh, by the way, Senior, these are 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones for you, Mr. Dao should keep them. Du Mingshui still vaguely remembered what she heard from others. If you want others to do things, it is useless to just say it, you must first pay for it. Prove your determination. Well, how do we get into? Li Tianyi silently accepted the spirit stone. He was not afraid of any danger inside. Anyway, if something goes wrong, he will teleport away. Nothing brings him a sense of security more than teleportation. We only need to put our spiritual consciousness into the beautiful scenery of mountains and rivers, and we can enter. But the location where we enter is random, so in order to avoid this happening. When Du Mingshui said this, her face turned slightly red and she said, we need to hold hands to avoid being separated when we go in. She had grown up in the Xuanyan sect since she was a child, and she had never held hands with a man. After all, the previous sect leader saw himself abandoned at the gate of the sect. Then take it. Li Tianyi was very calm. I already have so many wives, I won't be shy just because I hold hands with a woman. Gently holding Du Mingshui's little hand, an idiom popped into Li Tianyi's mind, as soft as water. Du Mingshui's little hand was like stroking a ball of soft water, with a little bit of cold breath. This may be related to the reason of Du Mingshui being spiritual roots. Senior, are you ready to go in? I'm ready, if you can, just call me by my name. Name, then I'll call you Tianyi, okay. No problem. Du Mingshui's skin, which was originally as white as snow, was filled with bursts of red clouds, and the white skin was rosy. Although it was just a name change, Du Mingshui felt very shy inside for some reason. I felt embarrassed to look up at Li Tianyi. Tianyi, go in now. In. Boom. For a while, Li Tianyi only felt an extremely powerful suction force appearing in front of him. It's like a black hole from which no one can escape. Then a white light flashed before his eyes. The chirping sounds of birds in the mountains reached my ears. When he opened his eyes, he was already standing on an ethereal mountain peak. Du Mingshui, who was standing beside him and holding hands with her, also slowly opened her beautiful eyes. The place I came to this time is different, Du Mingshui said. This is not the first time she has come to the beautiful scenery of mountains and rivers. I have tried it several times, but unfortunately all ended in failure without exception. Fortunately, after the failure, there was no danger, otherwise the painting would have been left in the space ring to gather dust. Is this the cave heaven? It is said that you can create your own cave heaven when you reach the stage of becoming a god. It seems that what they say is true. Li Tianyi thought secretly in his heart. This is truly the work of a powerful being. There is no comparison between this fake person and the other party. Tianyi, where we want to go next is right there. Du Mingshui pointed to the towering mountain road ahead. It seems you've been here quite a few times. Li Tianyi joked. I've been here many times before, but all of them failed. The test for the first-generation sect master to stay is really difficult. It's impossible to achieve the cultivation level of the God transformation stage, so I can only ask you, a true God transformation stage powerhouse, to help me solve my troubles. Thank you very much, Du Mingshui said embarrassedly. No need to thank me, this is just a deal, you give me the spirit stone and I will help you, it's only natural, let's go. Why? Li Tianyi and Du Mingshui set off towards the mountain in front of them together. Soon the two of them arrived at the foot of this big mountain. There are sections of stairs here. Every time you go up, the pressure will be greater. I have tried it many times. At most, I can only go up to halfway up the mountain, and I can't go up any higher. Du Mingshui regarded this ladder as a cultivation level detector. If you don't cultivate enough, you won't be able to move forward. On the other hand, if you cultivate enough, you can rise all the way up and finally reach the top of the mountain with inheritance. Hearing what Du Mingshui said, Li Tianyi felt a little confused. Why don't he simply burn 1,000,000 lifespans, use the state of Dzogchen in the divine transformation stage, and try blasting against this mountain? Otherwise, if he is unable to continue walking up, wouldn't he expose his realm? Just when Li Tianyi was thinking about how to deal with it, Du Mingshui took the lead, seemingly to prove to Li Tianyi that there was no trap. She walked very fast, and in a blink of an eye she was on the steps about 10 meters high. Seeing Du Mingshui concentrate on climbing the steps, Li Tianyi wanted to try to climb up and have a look. The first step, no problem. The second step, no feelings. With such suspicion in mind, Li Tianyi walked up step by step. In the blink of an eye, the two of them arrived halfway up the mountain. I saw that every step Du Mingshui took became much heavier. Drops of sweat emerged from Du Mingshui's forehead, dripping with fragrant sweat. She gritted her teeth and continued to climb up. Li Tianyi, who was following Du Mingshui, looked at herself in surprise. Is there really any prohibition on this? Why couldn't he feel it at all? Didn't Du Mingshui say that the higher the realm, the higher you can go? Li Tianyi's true state is the foundation of Dzogchen. Even Du Mingshui, who was on the third level of nascent soul, felt stressed. Why didn't he? Could it be that the hidden realm of the system has been deceived even with a restriction? It is indeed a good thing with a long burning life. After thinking about this, Li Tianyi's steps on the steps became much more steady and his speed became faster. Next moment, Li Tianyi surpassed Du Mingshui and continued to walk quickly upward. Watching the leisurely Li Tianyi going up, Du Mingshui couldn't help but sigh. He is worthy of being a powerful person in the transformation stage. Sure enough, this was exactly what she thought. The higher the realm, the higher one can go. You cannot use spiritual energy to fly up from this place. There will be a mysterious force blocking you. Above. Li Tianyi easily reached the peak that Du Mingxie had been unable to reach after trying several times. As soon as he walked up there, he felt a little surprised. In front of him, a woman suddenly appeared. The woman was wearing the same clothes as Du Mingxie, her whole body was suspended in midair, and she was doing a cross-legged meditative movement. Why is it a man? I remember the rules set by the Xuanian sect are to only recruit female disciples. Could it be that something happened? The woman suddenly opened her eyes and looked at Li Tianmu doubtfully. It shouldn't be. According to her idea, the people coming here at this moment should be people from her Xuanian sect. Even if the person in front of me is a man, even the clothes are not the clothes that Xuanian sect should wear. For a moment, even worse thoughts appeared in her mind. Could it be that the Xuanian sect was destroyed? Who are you? Li Tianyi asked this question, but he probably guessed the identity of the other party. The woman in front of me should be the first-generation sect master who created this cave. The other party should be dead. What appeared in front of him was a spiritual body created with aura and consciousness. Some powerful monks will use aura and consciousness to create a spiritual body with their own memories when they die. Come and find a suitable successor for yourself. Not only that, there are some monks who attach their souls to their spiritual bodies, waiting for the opportunity to be reborn. But this is usually what demon sect monks would do. You don't even know me, yet you dare to enter this space. Descendants, you are quite interesting, aren't you afraid of danger? Strange, I can't see through your cultivation. The woman teased Li Tianyi playfully, but suddenly realized that she could not clearly see Li Tianyi's cultivation level. It doesn't make sense. His original body had the cultivation level of the 7th level of the God transformation stage. As a spiritual body left behind from the original body, with the help of this magic circle, she can clearly see anyone's cultivation level. Unless the other party's cultivation level is higher than yours. She remembered that Yangzhongguo, where she came, was a very remote and small place, wasn't it? When will a monk in the transformation stage be born? Originally it was just a guess, but now I am certain that you should be the master who created this space, the first-generation master of the Xuanian sect. Li Tianyi finally determined the identity of the other party. It seems that you still know me. I just have many questions to ask you. Can future generations tell me how the Xuanian sect is doing now? Women are afraid that their Xuanianmen will be gone. Although it was temporarily created to avoid the Yaoqi Holy Land, it was also a matter of his own efforts. The Arabic numerals are too long to show, so I can only give you round numbers in a simple and intuitive way. The spiritual stones obtained in the future will be converted into integers. Why don't you ask that person to come up and ask her again? Li Tianyi glanced behind him. The woman raised her neck and released her spiritual consciousness. Only then did I realize that there was another person underneath, a woman. He was also wearing clothes that were only worn by the master of the Xuanian sect. How come the master of the Xuanian sect is only at the 3rd level of nascent soul? At such a low level, it is impossible to come up from the underground, and you will definitely be blocked in the end. What exactly is going on? The woman said in confusion. Li Tianyi slowly explained to her his origin and Du Mingxui's situation. I originally thought of letting Du Mingxie explain to the other party in person. Now it seems that it is better to let him do it for a little bit. A few minutes later. So that's it. The woman nodded in realization. Fortunately, the Yin Gate was not destroyed. Li Tianyi is just a foreign aide invited by Du Mingxie. I'm a bit confused. If you want to test the future master of Xuanian sect, why don't you leave a better technique? According to their situation and relying on their current skills, it is impossible for them to enter the stage of becoming gods in this life. Li Tianyi asked about his biggest doubt. He really couldn't understand this. It's like deliberately preventing the future master of the Xuanian sect from receiving the inheritance. Since this current sect leader has invited foreign aid, it means that she has decided on this inheritance, and I won't hide it. The woman told her why she did this. It turns out that the reason why she did this was to find a peerless genius. A true genius will never be limited by skills. It is only a matter of time before he enters the stage of becoming a god. As for why it must be a genius, that's because of the Yaoqi Holy Land. If you are not talented enough, if the Yaoqi Holy Land learns about your situation in the future, your situation will be very bad. If you are a person with mediocre qualifications, you will not be able to protect yourself in the future, let alone revenge. In order to prevent this from happening, it is also to protect some future door owners. The woman deliberately gave so many restrictions. Du Mingshui's talent is indeed very good, including the previous generation of sect leaders, but it is far from the woman's expectations. Geniuses like this are very common in Yangzhongguo. But if you put it in Zhongzhou, there are countless such geniuses. Most of them died before they could grow up. Not even a flash in the pan can do that. You have to understand that inheriting everything here means becoming the enemy of Yaoqi Holy Land. Since you're not a genius, you might as well spend your life in an ordinary and stable way. The woman sighed quietly. I just didn't expect fate to play tricks on people. The sect masters of this generation are wise. He actually sought help from an outsider. This surprised her. Is the man in front of me so trusted by this current sect leader? Aren't you afraid that the other party will take away this inheritance? I haven't thought about this level of thought, but I have promised Du Mingxie, and I must help her no matter what. Should you let her come up yourself, or should I help her come up? Li Tianyi gestured to raise his head. The woman hurriedly said, wait a minute, I'll ask her to come up. The cave I created cannot withstand your attack. I can't see through Li Tianyi's character. This shows that Li Tianyi's strength is probably above the 8th level of transformation. The self himself is no longer there. Maintaining this cave for many years depends entirely on the ability of Shan Guangshutu. Under the woman's control, Du Mingxie, who had been struggling on the stairs, was finally relieved of all the pressure. And also discovered that he could fly. Without the slightest hesitation, Du Mingxie flew into the sky and reached the destination that she had never been able to reach, the top of the mountain. Once at the top of the mountain, Du Mingxie saw Li Tianyi and the woman. Under the explanations of the two people, Du Mingxie had a rough understanding of the current situation. Senior, I know what you mean, and I also understand that I am not qualified to accept your inheritance now, but I hope you can give me a chance. I don't want to silence Xuanian sect like this anymore. Xuanian sect's situation is getting worse and worse. If I don't get your inheritance anymore, the Xuanian sect will soon be replaced by other sects and eventually disappear within the Yang sect. Du Mingxie finally understood the reason why his predecessor created Dongtian and left behind the inheritance and nascent soul technique. At the same time, he also knew that his talent was not recognized by the other party. But she didn't want to leave just now. He must inherit this inheritance in order to lead the Xuanian sect to continue on its path. Oh, that's all. I don't know how many years have passed. If you insist on doing this, you can do whatever you want, but I have a request. The woman looked at Du Mingxie. Finally, it was agreed that Du Mingxie would inherit the inheritance brought by the entire Yusu Pavilion. Senior, please tell me what your request is. I, Du Mingxie, will try my best to fulfill it for you, Senior. Du Mingxie didn't dare to speak too fully. After all, who knows what the senior's requirements are? She's not the kind of person who keeps her word. It's better to say it in advance. It's too difficult for her to do. If she couldn't do it, she wouldn't accept this inheritance. Whether it's difficult or not, whether it's easy or not, you can see for yourself. Rumble. The big mountain under my feet suddenly began to shake violently. The next second, a huge crystal coffin emerged from the ground. Dust shook above the crystal coffin and fell to the surrounding areas. A beautiful woman lay in the coffin. She closed her eyes and folded her hands on her belly. He was also wearing the clothes of the Xuanian sect master. If you look closely, you can see that the woman in the coffin is exactly the same as the woman in front of you. After talking for so long, I haven't introduced myself yet. Let me explain. My name is Han Shuangdi, and I am a disciple of the master of Yusu Pavilion in Yaoqi Holy Land. I thought I would have the opportunity to practice here until the Mahayana stage and then go back to avenge my masters, but what I didn't expect was this. My injuries were too severe and I died in the end. This is my body. My request is very simple. Help me take the body to Zhongzhou, help me find my family, and let them bury me. That's all Han Shuangdi's request. He himself is a dead man. She did not consider the matter of resurrection from the dead at all. Now I just want to return to my roots. Do fallen leaves return to their roots? Li Tianyi said thoughtfully. Senior, please rest assured, I will definitely help you do it. Dumingshi heard this and made a promise. This little thing can be done. The only difficult part is that it is not clear whether Han Shuangdi's family will be implicated in what happened that year, resulting in the genocide of the Yaoqi Holy Land. Don't worry, my family is very powerful. Although it is not as powerful as Yaoqi Holy Land has nothing to do with them. Seemingly sensing Dumingshui's worry, Han Shuangdi spoke. I know, Dumingshui nodded. Next, Li Tianyi gave the two of them some private time. Let Dumingshui accept the inheritance properly. Regarding inheritance, to be honest, Li Tiansu was not moved at all. He doesn't need to rely on these things at all. The only thing to consider is whether you should find some exercises suitable for wives to practice. His wife's spiritual roots are not bad either. Rumble. While Li Tianyi was standing aside waiting, Han Shuangdi's mental body gradually collapsed, causing the entire cave to tremble. Mountains in the distance began to collapse, and the birds living here fell to the ground and died one by one. This cave is about to collapse. Li Tianyi was ready to teleport. He didn't want to be trapped in the mountains and rivers Guangzhou picture. Tianyi, a soft voice came. Li Tianyi turned around and saw Dumingshi walking towards her. Have you accepted the inheritance? Well, it's a lot. It needs some time to digest. Let's go out for now. Dumingshi grabbed Li Tianyi's hand very skillfully this time. The two left Shan Guangshutu together. In addition to the beautiful pictures of mountains and rivers, what maintains this cave is Han Shuangdi's spiritual body. And Han Shuangdi's mental body can last for that long. It is because she relies on the power carried by inheritance that she has been able to survive for so many years. Now that the inheritance has been given to Dumingshi, the spiritual bodies of Dongtian and Han Lidi have naturally disappeared. As for Han Shuangdi's coffin, Dumingshi put it into the space ring. Space rings cannot accept living creatures. But Han Shuangdi is already dead, so there is no problem in putting it into the space ring. Outside world. Return to the familiar sect hall. Dumingshi said, Tianyi, I can't give you the skills I promised you for the time being, because I have a lot of things to figure out myself. I know, come to me again when you have absorbed the inheritance almost. Li Tianyi had expected this. Although Nuo Li Jiao didn't know much about how many inheritances Yu Su Pavilion had, he could guess that there should be a lot. I really want to thank you this time. Without you, I'm afraid. No, I should say that the future master of the Xuanian sect may not be able to inherit the inheritance. I said, no need to thank you. Li Tianyi still gained something this time. 20,000 high-grade spiritual stones, plus the skills Dumingshi will give him later. I don't know what level Zhongzhou's skills can reach. Then I won't give it to you, Tianyi, I still have a lot of things to settle. Dumingshi pointed to his head. There was too much information accumulated in her mind, which made her feel a little headache for a while. The inheritance that even the Yuanying monks cannot absorb quickly is enough to prove how many inheritances Yu Su Pavilion has. Click. Li Tianyi pushed open the door, and what came into view was the group of elders lying down and eavesdropping in the corner. What are you guys doing here? Li Tianyi rolled his eyes. Are the elders of Xuanian sect still so gossipy? Nothing, nothing. By the way, Senior, are you satisfied with the sect master? The great elder asked. Why are you satisfied or dissatisfied? It's not what you think. I'll go back first. Li Tianyi chose to spend his life and teleport back to Fengyan sect. Seeing the senior who disappeared in front of them in an instant, the elders looked at each other. What does senior mean? Fengyan sect. A few days later. As promised, Dumingshi came to Fengyan sect to find Li Tianyi. Congratulations to Dumen for your breakthrough in cultivation. The first time Li Tianyi saw Dumingshi, he could tell that the other person's realm had broken through. Although he didn't know what state Dumingshi was in now, he saw that Dumingshui's face was full of spring breeze and his aura seemed to be unable to contain himself. I knew that Dumingshi must have made a breakthrough. Through the inheritance left by Yu Su Pavilion, my realm has broken through to the 9th level of nascent soul, and I am only one step away from the stage of becoming a god. Dumingshi smiled sweetly. It is worthy of being the inheritance from the top forces in Zhongzhou. Originally, Dumingshi thought that the inheritance contained only techniques and magic weapons. Unexpectedly, there was also a cultivation initiation. Relying on Han Shuangdi's remaining cultivation, Dooming broke through several realms and jumped from the 3rd level of Yuanying to the 9th level of Yuanying. We are about to reach the great consummation of nascent soul and enter the stage of divine transformation. If it were other monks, it would take at least 50 or 60 years to break through to the nascent soul stage and become a god. Of course, except for some top-notch geniuses. After all, in addition to their powerful talents, they also have countless resources. Dooming sat elegantly in front of Li Tianyi. The sensible wives around him took their children away temporarily, leaving room for the two of them to talk. From Yu Su Pavilion's inheritance, I obtained a technique called Yuhua Da Pin Ju, which is a top-grade immortal technique. Top-quality magic. It is already the most powerful method in the entire immortal cultivation continent. The immortal technique means that as long as your talent is good enough and you practice this technique, it is only a matter of time before you become an immortal. If you want to find a technique more powerful than this, you have to go to the fairy world to find it. Dooming dared to tell Li Tianyi the level of the technique, which meant that she believed in Li Tianyi from the bottom of her heart. She is not afraid that Li Tianyi will steal her skills. Dooming was surprised to see that there was no wave in Li Tianyi's plain eyes. I thought that Li Tianyi would be shocked when he heard that he had immortal skills, even if he didn't snatch it. Who would have expected him to be so indifferent? The immortal Kung Fu is worthy of being collected by Yushug of Yaoqi Holy Land. They are really generous. No wonder Yaoqi Holy Land will hunt them down. Li Tianyi smiled softly. You took away all the people's most powerful immortal skills. It would be strange if they didn't hurry up with you. Yes, I thought that the skills left by Yushug would be at the holy level at most, but I didn't expect them to be of the immortal level. Dooming laughed and said, quite beyond my expectation. Senior, do you need this technique? I took a look and found that this technique does not mean that only women can practice it. Please give me a copy of the exercises. No problem. Dooming closed her eyes, then stretched out her index finger and touched Li Tianyi's forehead. Passed on the feathering masterpiece to Li Tianyi. Feathering Da Pinju. Those who practice to great perfection can become immortals. The founder of this exercise realized the great truth from the emergence of insects, and finally created this exercise. The immortal Kung Fu is powerful, but a common man is not guilty of possessing the jade. If someone who understands it sees that you are practicing the immortal Kung Fu, when you don't have a certain strength, you will be killed. Li Tianyi reminded Dooming the immortal skills are indeed powerful. But people who practice this kind of technique are basically people with a big background. Either the saint son or daughter of the sect, or the young master or lady of some family. Behind him is an extremely powerful protector. There are countless ways to save one's life. Unlike Dooming so what if she is the master of the Xuanian sect? A small sect with only 2 people in the nascent soul stage can be wiped out at will. There is no need to think about anything at all. I understand what you mean, senior. I will focus on the feathering Da Pin Ju, and then use other techniques as a supplement. Dooming thought of this. As long as you understand, help me see if there are any heavenly skills suitable for my wife in the Yusu Pavilion inheritance. Li Tianyi asked. Today's children are all practicing the 3 transformations mysterious skill. They have been on the agenda for a long time, and then converting to practice other exercises will affect their foundation to some extent. Instead of doing this, it is better to let them continue to practice the 3 transformations mysterious technique. When they reach the golden elixir stage, it won't be too late to practice the heavenly skills. Now the top priority is to improve the wife's cultivation. Let me look for it. Dooming continued to close her eyes. Start searching in your mind. Just a moment. A flash of light flashed through his eyes. Tianyi, I found a book of heavenly laws that should be very suitable for your wife. It's called Shuiyu Bible. You can take a look. It's called the Bible, but it's called Heavenly Law. Dooming used the same method again to pass the magic to Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi did not choose to transfer Ming Shui's skills to him directly because he was afraid that he would not have enough mental strength during the foundation building period. If you are fooled, you will lose more than you gain. This technique is indeed good, I will pass it on to them later. So far, this exercise is indeed the most suitable for my wife. Li Tianyi expressed satisfaction. After the two chatted, they fell into an awkward quiet atmosphere. Dooming originally wanted to stay here for a while, but she didn't know what to continue talking to Li Tianyi. On the contrary, Li Tianyi was busy checking Li Feng's current situation. His son Li Feng has been away from Yang Zongguo for some time. After his advice, Li Feng changed his path to leave Yang Zongguo and successfully avoided the danger of the demon cultivator. Son's name, Li Feng. Luck, 56. Normal person is 10. Recent events. Boarding the ferry boat of the Haoyun Chamber of Commerce to go to the Dingyang dynasty, and met a disciple of the Gai sect on the way. The two met and decided to join the Gai sect. This kid betrayed Fengyun sect so quickly, has he chosen to join Hilai? Li Tianyi said angrily to Li Feng Chai in her heart. He rebelled really quickly, but having said that, strictly speaking, his children are no longer Fengyun sect disciples. Fengyun sect has already lost control over them. Normally, they even wear the clothes of Fengyun sect. Everyone wears what they like. It's also good to join the Gai sect. As one of the three major forces of the Dingyang dynasty. With the support of Gui Yizong behind Li Feng, the future will become smoother. It's not like every time something happens, the only one you can rely on is your old father. Master Du, is there anything else you want to tell me? Li Tianyi raised his head and glanced at Du Mingxie, who was in a daze. Yes, no. Du Mingxie paused. She obviously wanted to continue talking to Li Tianyi about something. But I just don't know what topic to talk about. When it comes to spiritual practice, Li Tianyi's level is much higher than his own. Talking about ordinary trivial matters, who is she, and why should she talk to Li Tianyi about these things? Du Mingxie stood up leisurely, turned back 3 times with one step, and finally turned sideways at the door of the courtyard and said, "You can call me Mingxie, there is no need to call me Master Du." Finished. Du Mingxie quickly disappeared in front of Li Tianyi. Mingxie, it's a nice name, but she runs a little too fast. Li Tianyi held his head and smiled. As someone who has been there, he can't see what Du Mingxie means to him. It seems that it won't be long before we can capture this Du Mingxie. It seems that I haven't had a child with ice spirit roots yet. Ding. Li Xing's cultivation has broken through to the 8th level of foundation building, and he will feed back 1/10 of his cultivation. Ding. Li Shui's cultivation has broken through to the 5th level of foundation building, and she will feed back 1/10 of her cultivation. Ding. Li Yan's cultivation has broken through to the 3rd level of foundation building, and she will feed back 1/10 of her cultivation. Ding. Li Hanwai's cultivation has broken through to the 2nd level of Qi training, and she will give back 100% of her cultivation. After 2 major system upgrades. Now, the children in the Qi refining stage can already give back all their 100% cultivation to Li Tianyi. Ding. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the 1st level of the Golden Core stage. With so many cultivation bases in return, Li Tianyi directly broke through the foundation establishment Zochin and reached the 1st level of the Golden Core stage. From now on, he will also be a monk at the Golden Elixir stage. Finally a Golden Elixir. Li Tianyi let out a breath. According to the current rhythm, it won't be long before he can enter the nascent soul stage. Immediately afterwards, Li Tianyi used the function of detecting luck and showed it all to his children. I want to know who else has good luck besides Li Feng. This sight was a surprise for Li Tianyi. Name of the heir, Li Yanmiao. Luck, 67. Normal person is 10. Recent major events. Staying in Fengyun sect to practice. His own child Li Feng just relied on his 56th luck, which was enough to obtain the 3-turn mysterious skill. What if Li Yanmiao goes out? No, if we take this opportunity, we should talk to Li Yanmiao carefully and let her go out as much as possible. At first, Li Tianyi didn't know that Li Yanmiao was so lucky. If he had known about it earlier, he would have let Li Yanmiao go out and walk around. With such high luck, you can encounter some good things wherever you go. Crisis and opportunity coexist. As long as you are there, your children can only encounter opportunities but no crises. Night, accompanied by the appearance of visions of heaven and earth. Li Tianyi knew that Gong Ranran and Bu Menglin were going to have a baby. The earth aura and water aura have become much thicker. The air gradually becomes moist. The faint blue spiritual energy appeared in the air, turning into dragons, floating in the clouds and mist. The elders became numb. No need to guess, everyone knew that it was Senior Li's child who was born. Shi Ziyuan, what kind of spiritual root do you think this child is this time? Zhang Hai asked, stroking his beard. Looking at this situation, at least they are all children with super-grade spiritual roots. I really envy the seniors, who have ancient kidney bodies and such terrifying cultivation. I seem to have seen a future family that is slowly rising up in the world of immortality. Shi Ziyuan wished he could become a woman now and marry Senior Li. In this way, what else does he need to think about? Just sit on his lap and it will be done. Congratulations, Senior, you are a boy and a girl. The two female monks took out the child born to Gong Renren and Bu Menglan. The two of them followed behind. As Li Tiany's wife, it is no longer as easy for them to have children now. When giving birth, a female midwife will be around to take care of you to avoid any unexpected situations. Although dystocia basically does not happen in the world of immortality, it may still cause dystocia if someone with a very unnatural physique is born. For example, Meng Ziyao is currently carrying the 9 yin and 9 nether holy body in her belly. Li Tianyi is fully prepared to welcome the arrival of this child. Husband, please give the children a name. Gong Renren said softly. The man's name is Li Tank, and the woman's name is Ji Zonlin. Li Tianyi has named the children. The boy was born first and was the older brother. The female is the younger sister. Congratulations, Senior, another pair of dragons and phoenixes. The dragon and phoenix appear auspicious. Senior, this is a sign of great joy. Congratulations to Senior Li, congratulations to Senior Li. It's not worth mentioning if you have a thin heart. The elders of Fengyan sect came over after hearing the news and congratulated Li Tianyi. At the same time, some small magic weapons were also given as gifts for Li Tianyi's children. They know that their seniors look down upon their own things. But if the seniors can't use it, they can be used by the seniors' children. The children of the seniors all have amazing talents, and it is enough to please one of them. I have temporarily accepted everyone's thoughts for the children. When they understand, I will definitely convey everyone's good intentions to them. Li Tianyi is naturally not ambiguous. Since they are all for his children, why not accept them? It's true that I don't need it, but my children do. Even if it doesn't work, you can exchange it for some spiritual stones. Xuanyanmen, does the method you mentioned really work? Du Mingxie asked doubtfully. Just after returning from Fengyan sect, these elders told her how they felt about Li Tianyi. Du Mingxie doesn't understand what like and love are. So he told the elders how he felt. As experienced elders, they immediately understood that their sect leader had fallen in love. Immediately come up with ideas one by one. But after listening to the elders' ideas, Du Mingxie always felt that something was not right. What does it mean to secretly ask Li Tianyi to a place where no one is around and then do it directly? Sir, you still don't understand. As the saying goes, a man chases a woman across a mountain, and a woman chases a man across a vale. Yes, Lord Sect Master, you still have to take the initiative yourself. After all, Senior has so many women, all of whom are of extraordinary beauty. If you don't take the initiative, Senior will definitely not have any thoughts about you. Okay, I'll give it a try. After tonight, I'll go to Fengyan sect again tomorrow. Listening to what the elders said, Du Mingxie was deceived and felt that it was indeed a good idea. She gritted her teeth slightly and decided to give it a try. If the senior rejects her politely, then she will concentrate on her practice from now on and will not care about other things for the time being. In order to improve the strength of Xuanyan sect, Du Mingxie also specially selected several exercises suitable for the elders and core disciples. Just like Li Tianyi said, you can't give them too good skills. To avoid being discovered by some malicious people. And who knows if all the disciples of the sect are loyal to the sect? What if they are spies from other sects? Just in case, Du Mingzong taught everyone the skills of Deepening. Early the next morning, Du Mingxie woke up from bed for the rare time. Because of today's events, she tossed and turned and couldn't sleep last night. It was not until the latter half of the night that I finally felt sleepy and fell asleep after sealing off my spiritual energy. Under the watch of the elders, Du Mingxie got on his ferry boat and set off. Looking at the direction in which the sect master was leaving, the elders talked incessantly. Do you think Master Sect Master can succeed? It must be possible. After all, our sect master is the #1 fairy in Yangzhongguo. She is the most beautiful fairy, and the most powerful one is Ji Yu Qingxi. No, 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 now our sect master is comparable in strength and beauty, and has long surpassed Ji Yu Qingxi. Fengyan sect. Oh, Mingxie, you are here again. Why are you looking for me today? Could it be that you have encountered some obstacles in your practice? Li Tianyi asked with a smile. In his arms was a little girl named Ji Ling. She has super-grade lightning roots and a body of thunder. Her mother is Ji Yu Qingxi. At the age of less than 1 year old, through his special physique and breathing in spiritual energy, his cultivation has reached the astonishing second level of qi training. As expected of him, he has great talent. This is something that many monks cannot get no matter how hard they try. Tianyi, is this your and Qingxi's child? Du Mingxie was already prepared. But when she saw Li Tianyi, the anger in her mouth suddenly dissipated. Then he changed the topic stiffly. Well, she is my little daughter, her name is Li Liling. She has a special physique and is already a second-level qi training monk. Li Tianyi touched Li Liling's delicate little face. Li Liling himself was nestled in his father's arms, with an infatuated smile on his face. Your children seem to be very nice to your father. Oh no. I'm not saying that the children should treat your father badly. No, I'm not talking about that either. Okay, Mingxie, I know what you mean, don't be nervous. Du Mingxie suddenly found that the more he explained, the more confused he became. He waved his hands nervously. This was even more stressful than when he inherited the position of sect leader. What happened to her? Fortunately, Li Tianyi spoke in time, which made Du Mingxie less nervous. Mingxie, how do you feel about me? Let's put it objectively. Since Du Mingxie is thin-skinned, she can't say anything. Li Tianyi sensed Du Mingxie's feelings. As a man, he should take the initiative to speak first. I think you are very good, Tianyi. When I get close to you, my heart always beats faster unconsciously. I asked the elders and they said that I have fallen in love with you, but I have been practicing for so long and have never understood what liking is. I only know that I feel very happy when I am by your side. When I leave you, I feel empty in my heart. When Du Mingxie first spoke about her senses, she was a little hesitant. But the further she spoke, the faster and calmer her speech became. This is the first time she expresses her feelings to a man. So, you like me? Li Tianyi smiled softly. Like, that should be the case. If these symptoms represent liking, then I have indeed fallen in love with you, Tianyi. Du Mingxie lowered her head and said. The atmosphere instantly fell into silence, and there was only the whistling breeze in the ears. Just when she was at a loss as to whether to leave or stay, a warm figure came to her and took her into his arms without hesitation. Then will you marry me? I am willing. Du Mingxie was stunned for a moment, then shyly buried her head in Li Tianyi's arms. Li Liling, who was standing between the two of them, tilted his head in confusion. What was his father doing with this sister? Why do I suddenly feel so redundant? Soon after the two expressed their feelings, Du Mingxie told the elders the good news. The elders of Xuanyan sect were so happy that they immediately spread the news throughout the Yangzong kingdom. By the way, the wedding date was set for 3 days later. For a time, the entire Yangzong kingdom was in a state of commotion. It is a big deal for the strongest monk in Yangzongguo to marry the most beautiful fairy in Yangzongguo. The marriage between the two quickly became a chat among everyone after dinner. After hearing the news, Liu Bai really wished that he was a woman and could marry Senior Li Tianyi. Why do we need to put so much thought into it, just to let Liu's sect develop? 0.0. The wedding in 3 days. There was a huge crowd, and all the prominent figures in Yangzong rushed to Xuanyan to attend the wedding of the two. The total gift spirit stones received reached an astonishing 50,000 high-grade spirit stones. Everyone is a person with identity and status. Coupled with Li Tianyi's cultivation level, the gifts they gave will naturally be huge. In total, there are 50,000 high-grade spiritual stones, which is normal. Night, Li Tianyi came to her new house smelling of alcohol. Looking at Du Mingxie sitting on the bed with a red hijab, Li Tianyi instantly used spiritual energy to understand the smell of wine and the alcohol in his body. A monk can get drunk without deliberately using spiritual energy to remove alcohol. Generally, Monks who drink alcohol will not choose to use spiritual energy to purge them. Otherwise, what's the point of drinking? But then Li Tianyi has to do business, and being drunk is not a good idea. Sensing Li Tianyi approaching, Du Mingshui's delicate body seemed to be trembling, whether it was excitement or nervousness. Madam, it's late at night. A moment of spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Host: Li Tianyi. Age: 50. Cultivation level: First level of Golden Elixir stage. Qualification: 5 elements waste spirit root. Remaining lifespan: 14 million. It has been detected that the host is giving birth to an heir, and the partner's spiritual root is a high-grade Himuro spiritual root. After spending 10 years of life, the descendant's spiritual root becomes a middle-grade ice spiritual root. After spending 100 years of life, the spiritual root of the offspring is a high-quality ice spiritual root. After spending 100,000 years of life, the spiritual root of the descendant is upgraded to the top ice spiritual root. After expending a lifespan of 150,000 years, the descendant's spiritual root was upgraded to the top grade ice spiritual root, and at the same time, it carried Mingshui's extremely cold body. After spending 300,000 years of life, the descendant's spiritual root was upgraded to the top ice spiritual root, and his physique was upgraded to the ice phoenix holy body. Hiss. Unlike other bonsais, Li Tianyi discovered that the bonsai Du Mingshui raised actually alternated between hot and cold. Do you have a special physique? Li Tianyi looked at Du Mingshui and said in surprise. Do I have a constitution? Looking at Du Mingshui's confused and rosy pretty face, it can be understood that she may not even know that she has a special physique. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.